nothing happens. Unless you want it to. And you might be wondering, who is this crazy prick on your screen? Well, I'm the one who has made the new series. Horror stories will be played in the background. This is our new series. You might be wondering, where's the old series? Gone.
This happened a little over a decade ago when I was an undergrad. I worked as a pharmacy technician my sophomore
This skin
through
will
senior
not do
years.
not do
At a
one
pharmacy,
bit.
of course, you have regulars. One regular was Joe, a mid-30s man with long straggly hair and an affinity for bizarre outfits. He was very sweet, but also very ill, mentally and physically. He was on a
Dark internet horror story. 22 skins, it says. Don't see any that I like though.
24/7 video chat with a medical provider. Anytime, any place. This story happened to me on a Thursday night when I was home alone in my apartment complex. I lived with my roommate Josh, who was usually out with his girlfriend, so that gave me the luxury of having the place to myself. I was video chatting with 3 classmates of mine on Facebook Messenger.
You know
Their
who
names
I
were Eric,
am.
Craig, and Cindy. This was my first interaction with them as our professor selected us to be in a group project together. Throughout the night, we brainstormed ideas while getting more acquainted with one another. This is when the story gets a bit weird. Eric spontaneously asked the group chat, "Hey guys, want to see something cool?"
What is it?
"Getting an A+ in this project would be cool." "Sure, man, what's up?" Eric sends the group chat a photo. I click the chat icon and see a disturbing image of a woman with her arms and legs missing. What the hell?
Ew! Why are you sending us this?
Dude, where the hell did you get that photo? I'll tell you, but you guys really need to keep this a secret. Promise me you won't tell anyone.
This isn't marketing related, but okay, I guess.
Sure, dude. Please don't tell me you were the sicko who took that pic. I didn't. I actually got the photo from the dark web. Dude, you go on the dark web?
What's the dark web?
No,
Supposedly it's this hidden part of the internet where you can buy illegal stuff. I personally wasn't that educated about the dark web, but I did hear rumors about it growing up.
That you do not
I've
know.
always acknowledged the existence of these kinds of things growing up, but I was
You'll
still
be
unaware as to what
when I
potential
take you
atrocities lie within the
from your
online
nice
world.
home.
Eric then says,
Aw, did you
"Yeah, I
just
just recently
take
started getting into it.
from your
I found
mighty
a photo
new
from one of
god?
the forums I came
You'll
across
regret
called
that.
Homemade Dolls. Here's the full-size picture." He then sends us the exact same photo, except this time it had a description box next to it with the title, Doll Number 20. Why the hell, of all people, did I have to be in a group project with this weirdo? The details in the description stated inhumane acts that could be performed on the victims before being shipped to their buyers. I felt pretty disgusted reading the dialogue, but I was still somewhat skeptical about the whole thing. It was hard to deny its legitimacy.
Out of control.
The authenticity of the image was too real to be a hoax.
To be honest, this looks photoshopped.
This is the initial reaction of a YouTuber named Joey Mac420 after experiencing a mysterious encounter while motorbiking in the mountains of California. And it was all fun and games until a freaking ghost girl just comes out of nowhere. He and his friend are out on a long bike trail with no one visible for miles and no reason for anyone to be out there with them.
Somewhere far away.
Until at one point
And take
the trail
2 villagers
dips along
with
the
us.
base of a mountain.
Don't worry, they'll be happy.
Section of woods.
At least.
Joey comes around a corner and is
I hope
surprised to
so.
see this person approaching him. Someone who he's never seen before, and yet who looks strangely familiar. He's so freaked out by the sight of
Well, I
someone
might as well
all the way out
introduce
here,
myself.
a clear 45 miles from town, that he veers off
I
the path and
am
takes a
Void.
look over his
But you
shoulder
probably
to
already
make
knew
sure
that.
what he saw was real.
But I'm a creature that escaped. I've taken over your humble streamer, watermelon and no streams. Oh, who cares? I took over your stream. Now I control what happens. I make the decision. Do you want him back? Well, too bad. But lucky for you, I don't take over him all the time. Just for the series. Sometimes I may be absent, but I'll come back each and every time. Eventually. So you just gotta wait for the next time. Now let's get ready for our nice base.
Smart thinking on Joey's part. He checks the database and brings up this photo. Carly Lane Goose. I know it's kind of hard to tell from this distance, but I do see some possible correlations between the person in this video and the person in these missing FBI photos. The hairstyle
that makes this
similar.
entire
She
process
seems to have the same high
10 times easier.
If I had to guess the age, I would say a teenager, much like Carly.
Oh, am I a little bit too crazy for you? Am I a psychopath? Why did I take over his body, you may ask? You might as well answer some more questions. I can answer anything. I've seen everything happen. So, why am I here, you may ask? For fun. I've basically experienced everything in that stupid endless void, so I decided to come into this body. Seemed interesting. Siblings, 8 and 2 years old. Let's see. He said Skeppy and Bad Boy Halo clips. Sorry guys, I had to pull out his voice to make sure it didn't contact the company that owns the phone. We need to make everything recognizable. You may be like, oh, it doesn't matter. You're wrong.
Little red. And only because this one, see, like, I don't feel anything towards this one. The red egg was having an influence on people, okay? It was having an influence on people. Like, Puffy, Frost, all of us were, like, drawn to it in some reason. But it was only having an influence on certain people. I think it has something to do with how long you spend around it. But I'm not sure. But there were also red vines growing out of the tower. They were literally all over the place. On Fundy's Fox that I built for him way over there, you can see a little bit of the orange right there. There were red vines growing on that. See, you can kind of see it. Let me go over here.
I don't know why he plays this garbage. It's just infinite blocks.
I don't see any, so it
the
doesn't
code is
like
interesting.
Now I'm going to explain
Infinite
what
terrain
happened.
is not
Satnav
easy.
came on.
But when I saw the code personally, I figured it all out.
Because again, the egg was having its influence on it. It looked
and
really
then you
cool.
have to,
it was really awesome.
And then you get the
came on,
and then you have
and
Minecraft.
He
it is very interesting,
tried to blow up
but
the egg. And at the time,
I
we
hate
didn't
how
want
you
him
start
to.
with nothing.
But when he blew up part of
We'll
it
just
and put
pull
a
out everything
crack
I need.
in the egg, we were like, no, Satnav, you can't do this. And we went and tried to stop him.
Rewind the day so
and
you can see what he said. This series, no
credits. The crack, weird things started to happen around it. It started to like glow, like the egg was actually
that
glowing,
is all
and it was really weird.
And I decided to honor it. Even if I'm taking over his body, I should respect the man's wishes. Oh, and like I said, he's not dead. Hopefully. I just taken over his body for a quick trip. And also, this is not what I look like at all. It's just the most simplest form I can make to somewhat resemble me.
The influence, and then we went around and we broke all the vines, and we were near the egg when Skeppy the other day. Oh my goodness! I need to head down there. Why have I been talking this whole time? Skippy is in the egg right now. Okay, I'll summarize as I run. Skippy, we were down there. The egg was coated in obsidian, which was breaking the egg's influence. But then Skippy broke a piece of the... Oh my goodness, I'm going to need some of this. Skippy broke a piece of the egg. Okay, he broke it, right? And the obsidian, as soon as he did, it's like, boom, the egg like snapped, like right to us, and we were in love with the egg again, okay? And like, it was like we just didn't want him to break it or anyone to break it again at that point. And we were literally, we were freaking out, panicking, like, oh my goodness, or like at the thought of it being destroyed. And Skippy was like, he sent us away, and we thought he was going to bond with the egg, and he was going to love the egg like we did. But when we came back, we noticed like something happened. When we came back, Skippy had recoated it in obsidian. He had recoated the entire egg in obsidian, and it no longer had its hold on us. But Skippy was trapped inside the egg, and I can't believe. I'm sorry, guys. I need to catch you up, but I need to go save him. I'm sorry. I can't talk anymore. Okay. Oh my goodness.
Oh, look at these
Oh no.
idiots.
Oh no. Wait, what?
I see them as simple
Hold on a
villagers.
second.
I see them as a pest.
Was it
Something
like
that
that
takes and
yesterday?
takes. I like the
Something's
Ravengers
different?
more.
What?
More my taste,
What's-
if you will.
What's with the?
But
I can see
things
Skippy
like
in there, but
people like
there's
them.
the obsidian
Simple
looks different.
creatures.
What in the
But
what's that?
personally,
You know
like
what?
I said,
I'm not gonna worry
I don't
about
care
it.
for
I'm not
them.
gonna worry about it. Skippy?
That's why I kidnapped them.
Skippy, are you
I actually
okay?
played this game before. It was for a
Skippy,
very short time.
can you hear
and
me?
it was on
Oh my
Jeb's
goodness. Okay, I'm
computer.
gonna unmute the donuts now.
I just wanted to do the
Thank you guys
flex,
so much
and
for
then
the
you
donuts.
got rid of me
Skippy!
completely. You don't
Skippy,
know
are
how
you
it
there?
feels being erased
Oh no,
from
guys,
something.
I don't think he can hear me.
It destroys your
Skippy,
body
listen,
in and out.
can you shift one time if you can hear me?
Don't worry. I always kill him try not to make it look like
Oh my
he left
goodness, Skippy, listen. I'm going to get you out, okay? Can you shift
fine.
one time if you understand?
I'm looking at him right now, to be honest.
Okay, shift 2 times if you don't understand.
Sorry.
Okay, good. Okay, he understands. Oh no. Okay, oh my goodness, thank you so much. I'm Kanechi. Thank you so much for the 5 gifted subs. Thank you. Okay, guys, I don't know what I'm gonna do. Because here's the
start
problem.
building our house.
Yesterday, in order to get Skippy out, I'm gonna have to break the obsidian. But I can't break the obsidian because if I break it, it's gonna like reveal the influence. And what is this? Like, what is going on with this? Why is this happening now? Guys, I don't know what to do. How am I gonna... I need to get Skippy out, but I can't mine it, because if I mine it... Oh my goodness, I don't know. Should I go under? No, if I go under, I might expose it, because I don't think there's obsidian. So if... Wait a minute. There's obsidian around the edge, and there's no obsidian. There's no obsidian under it. Could that have an effect? What if I go under it, will I feel the effect? Wait, no, there's bedrock, like a couple layers down. Oh my goodness, I might not be able to go in from under anyway. Guys, I don't know what to do. Oh my goodness. Oh, can I get Ant? No. Ant feels the same effect I do. Oh my goodness. Okay. This is very true. Wait a minute. Okay, I have obsidian. Wait, so if obsidian blocks the effect, what if I try to like put a barrier? Would a barrier work? Could I build a barrier? Guys, what do you think? Should I try a barrier? Get Sam? Get Awesome Dude? I could get him, but I actually don't think he's on right now. Oh my goodness, I don't think he's online. Oh, I don't know what to do. Oh, this is not good. Okay, guys, I gotta try this. I have to try this. Okay. Skippy, listen, I'm gonna try something, but it's gonna be risky. Okay? Shift if you're okay with that. 1 for yes, 2 for no. Okay? Skeppy, are you okay with me trying something risky? He moved. He's not shifting. What does that mean? He moved, but he's not shifting. Oh no, oh no, oh no, oh no. Oh no, oh no, oh no. I don't know what to do. Oh my goodness. Skeppy, I don't know what to do. Oh, I gotta be careful. Okay, here we go.
And you may be wondering,
Skeppy?
am I in the
Skeppy?
real world or am I in
Do
digital?
you see my name?
It's kind of complicated, but to put it simple, both. I feel everything the character feels. That's why I like the pain. But at the same time, I control the world outside, making sure he can't stop me. And making sure I can move. Without him, I would be nothing. But at the same time, if I left him right now, he wouldn't have a single idea who
What's something that would surprise women about life as a man?
avoid
Definitely that we also enjoy compliments. I just got out of a 4-year relationship, and during some reminiscing thoughts, I realized she never once told me I look nice or called me hand-ons or anything. I told her she was beautiful every day for 4 years, and I don't even know if she found me attractive. It sucks. I've been there. We're also the ones that are supposed to initiate sex when we don't even know if our girl is attracted to us. I'm a guy with kids and a wife who is a nurse that works nights. It is almost impossible for me to go do stuff with him without someone saying something about daddy duty or mom got a free day today hug. It's ridiculous. Not every male with a child out there is some deadbeat parent who only hangs out with their kids when they absolutely have to. As a single dad, I can really relate. People act like I'm on some sort of extreme adventure of babysitting when in reality I'm taking my 2 kids with me grocery shopping. I'm a single dad 24/7. It's my life. No biggie. This sort of post has come up in the past, and overwhelmingly men say they don't get sincerely complimented often enough. So when it happens, it sticks with them for a long time. I had such an opportunity at the grocery store a week or so ago. A man was walking toward me and I noticed he had a nice beard.
I won't deny
so I
his
decided to tell him I
request.
liked his beard.
Just
He
got
smiled
to
and touched it and said
do
thank you.
some
I feel like it was a small but good deed, and I hope it sticks
Sorry.
with him as a genuine compliment.
Coding the game
I
to do
bet
what
he
you
thinks
want
about
it to
that
do
every
is
time
not
he looks
very
in the mirror or
easy.
touches his beard. We pretty much go through life unnoticed,
Sorry,
save for
I'm
negative
getting lost in
attention.
the
I have
game.
been going to a pet
But
supply
don't let
store
it happen
for
too
about a
often,
decade, and although
or
I'm
else you
always
get
greeted
stuck
nicely, I'm generally left
stuck
alone.
within the
I walked in
void
with a baby in a carrier one day,
forever.
and I was greeted by everyone. And every single employee went out of their way to ask me what I was eating and if they could get it for
Sorry.
me. I was
You
fully
started
capable
waiting
of
for a
getting a
second.
30-pound bag
Don't
of dog
worry.
food and the
I
baby, but
stopped
one
it.
employee simply wasn't having it. He ran to the back to grab the food and carried it to the checkout and then carried it to the car. I was shocked. I told my wife about it and she said, "They do that every time you go there, don't they? Apparently this is the service she receives every single time she goes there, or pretty much anywhere with decent customer service." She was shocked to hear that I didn't receive the same service. Me too. I love taking my 8-year-old daughter shopping because everyone is so nice and smiles at us. And I'm a big scary guy, 6 feet 4 inches, 280, so no one smiles at me when I'm alone. How much we would like to feel wanted and not simply useful or needed. How much pressure there is on us in terms of body image. We hear about all the crap women go through. You'd ever stop to think about all the dog-sized jokes? That alone can cause insecurity. And that doesn't even touch things like losing your hair, grain, muscle mass, etc. That we really do care about a lot more than society says we do. We're just not allowed to show it because that's a sign of weakness, and we're taught at a young age that you have to put up a perfect image or no one will ever want you. That first point hits home. Sometimes I confide in my wife that I don't feel wanted, and she gives me a crooked look. She goes on to explain all the reasons I am useful and needed in the household, but never expresses how or why I am wanted. It seems like girls understand pretty much every time they are getting hit on. Most guys I know don't. Most are so scared of being seen as creeps that flirting is often just taken as someone being nice. One time in particular, it took a girl putting her hands down my pants at a bar to realize she wasn't just being nice. I like kids. Kids are funny. They like breaking rules to have fun, and they still have an imagination. I don't frick kids. Heck, I hardly frick adults either, but that's beside the point. A girl I went on a date with last week showed me a picture of this adorable little boy, her neighbor's son, and told me sometimes she goes to the neighbor's house just to see him. When I told her that I didn't think that would ever be the case for me, she seemed sad and asked why. UHH. I'm a guy. Hello, Susan. It would make my night if I could take your goofy 6-year-old daughter out for ice cream. I've had a very depressing day. You can frick off before I call the police. How's that? That works too. Have a nice night. See you never. Men have just as hard a time overcoming stereotypes as women. You, a woman, want to learn how to ride a motorcycle or want to be a programmer, and you don't want to be a housewife or spend all day cooking. Good for you. You, a man, don't want to cut the grass, or learn to fix your car by yourself, and you want to spend all day cleaning the house and sewing pillowcases. Wake the freak up and support your family. The unwritten expectations on being a man are a big part of how our lives are shaped. For some it works out fine, for others it's a disaster. If you read or hear someone saying a real man does X, someone is trying to manipulate you. I remember my wife asked me years ago, hey, get any compliments on your bald head? It was a drastic change. Shaved head. She thought it fit my style. At the time, I only worked with guys.
Don't worry,
She looked amazed and shocked when I laughingly replied, are you serious? Have anyone noticed? She thought I was heartbroken, but in reality I would have been surprised if anyone did compliment. It is very rare to find a company or place of work that allows men to follow a seasonal dress code. It's really hot in the summer. Women can wear dresses or skirts. Men are still wearing suits. It would be nice to be able to wear a nice pair of shorts if it's really hot out. The company where I used to work allowed men to take off their ties if it was over 90 degrees in the office. Can't get more accommodating than that. Haven't seen this one yet. My girlfriend was absolutely bamboozled by the fact that our testicles can be raised and lowered by flexing. I mean, like, she was speechless for a good 3 minutes. From my experience, women talk about sex with their friends much more, and in much more graphic detail than men talk about the same subject with other guy friends. I guess my point is that men aren't as sleazy and gratuitous as most women make us out to be. The complete and total lack of regard or value for our own lives, both internally and all too often externally. I don't mean to pick fights here, but when you hear about women and children first, men must register for the military, draft, etc. It gets ingrained in you. You learn, slowly but surely, that your value is contingent upon what you do and not just who you are. You never feel truly satisfied just being there, just existing. You always feel like you have to constantly be working at something, and, God
Very
forbid,
slow,
you ever become
but necessary
unemployed, then you are
process.
essentially invisible.
No.
A homeless woman is often seen as more of a pity or someone to be sympathetic to. She
Stop.
must have been abused,
Stop.
raped, etc. A homeless man, he's seen as a threat. He's seen as an outcast. There is
Oh
little
my
sympathy,
fucking
even though,
God.
oftentimes,
I don't
he may
have a
gone
gun.
through those same exact
You
issues as a
stupid
woman. It often feels
whore.
like, on a
Time to
certain
die,
level,
you stupid
society
idiot.
tends to see any problems that women have as being externally caused, whereas men's issues are often seen as his own failures, doings, etc.
Don't see the iron
Men's
bone.
problems are seen as being
That may
internally
change.
caused. Men are seen as having more control, which can be beneficial if you're wanting to be in a position of esteem and power, but it can also be harmful if you're struggling with a mental illness or just to make ends meet. And that's why, I think, we so often refuse to seek help. We don't want to admit that a problem might be there, because we're afraid that it'll turn into an indictment of ourselves and no one will sit there and say, it's not your fault, you're good enough, you're valuable just as a human being. Because I've never felt that a man's life is seen as unconditionally valuable. It's valued so often based mostly on what he does or, failing that, doesn't do. Women and children, by contrast, are valued just by being. And it's a bitter pill to swallow. Once you grow up and become a man, you still remember being valued. But it's just not there anymore. You're supposed to have all this control. But you don't. Eventually, that pill all too often becomes literal. That's why we turn to weed, sex, video games, painkillers, pee, The internet, social media, alcohol, age. Wherever we can escape to and pretend that we have control through have value in. We are taught from a young age that things don't happen to you. They...
Let's go! This is so good. By the way, if you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to press subscribe. It helps me out a lot. And sometimes YouTube unsubscribes you and you don't even realize. So make sure you subscribe. If you weren't already subscribed, subscribing supports me a bunch and helps me create more content like this. So if you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to press subscribe. It's totally free. Appreciate all your support and enjoy the video. Today, my one and only goal is to finally get Bad Boy Halo to fucking curse, okay? You know how I'm gonna do it, chat? You wanna know how I'm gonna do it? Have you guys ever seen those goddamn awful soap operas? I'm gonna show Bad Boy Halo one of those Mexican soap operas, right? So, quick story time. Hold on. There is a soap opera episode that talks about goddamn OnlyFans, right? But in reality, this OnlyFans episode was fucking awful. Okay, so this is the episode. Some guy makes an OnlyFans, and the show tries to tell you it's a religious show. The show tries to tell you that making an OnlyFans is dangerous, which is absolutely not true at all, okay? I can make an OnlyFans and still be alive. They didn't call my OnlyFans, chat. You know what they fucking called it? They called it OnlyFriends. I was gonna show you that episode until I started skimming through it. And it started showing the actual guy's fucking OnlyFans pictures. Look at what the I had to fucking censor it with Bad Boy Halo. It got a little too serious for my taste, so I was like, forget about it. I went and had a look, chat, okay? I went and had a nice little look around. You know, I started traveling the goddamn categories, the goddamn YouTube recommended. I found an episode of a little girl who's fucking high as shit, and she gets bullied for being ugly. This ain't a joke, which I've never experienced that in my life, chat. But listen, these episodes, they're not in English, they're in Spanish. So I'm gonna have to be translating these for Bad Boy Halo along the way. And the only catch here is, I'm gonna translate them horrendously. Bad Boy Halo! Hello! Oh, Bad Boy Halo, do you have the urgency to say the word or any of those?
No, I do not. Language.
You should. You know why? Because I'm gonna show you the worst goddamn show in goddamn Mexico, okay? It's gonna be great. Bad, I have a proposal for you.
What's the proposal?
After this stream, I'll get entirely naked if you turn on your face cam right now.
Okay, I'm not turning on my face
What
cam.
the hell?
Why do you sound like you're in a trash can?
What? Hello? Wait, no, I'm not interested. Chat, is that true? You gotta give me something bad, because every time someone comes on my stream, they have to show something. What about Rat? You got your Rat cam set up?
No.
Set it up right now. You gotta bring your goddamn dog to your bed and show a Rat cam.
Do you really want me to go and get Rat?
Alright, you stay here. I will be right back. I think Rat is probably the cutest dog ever. Totally believe that. So listen, what we're gonna do is we're just gonna play some little games with Rat as soon as he brings his dog up here. Check this out, chat. What is that little stick? What is that little stick where you put your golf ball at? Rat's gonna hold it with his hands like this, and we're gonna play some golf with the Rat cam. Let's go. Let's get a clap for Rat. You know what? I've become fond of that dog. All right, chat. Sorry. Okay.
Alright, Rat cam set up. There you go.
Alright, show it. Oh my god! Oh shit, it's showing on screen. Alright, check this out, Bad. We're gonna play a little bit of golf, alright? This is how it's gonna work. Check my stream. I'm gonna get a golf club. Hold on, I need a stick or something. I wanna play golf with the damn dog, okay? Hold on.
Why? Rat doesn't know how to play golf.
Well, I'll teach him. Alright, ready? Okay, let's go.
Wait, are you going to hit my Rat with a...
Bad, I'm playing golf. The golf ball, you see the little golf ball on top of her? She's holding it. It's so cute. She's holding it. Let's go.
Oh, it's balanced on her nose.
Oh my god! Dad! Oh my god!
What?
Oh my god! Dad, I'm gonna get a hole in one. Oh my god! I got a hole in one!
I think you're crazy, Quackity.
Okay, listen, Bad. We're gonna have this freaky little Rat cam on the top something. We're gonna keep it here, okay? If Bad, something's gonna happen. I'll tell you that much. Today we're gonna watch a Mexican soap opera. This is the biggest Mexican soap opera show that exists in all of Mexico. It's a religious show that gives you something to think about. So it's actually a good thing. I think we're gonna watch a really good show today, Vat. Are you excited?
I'm very excited.
This one is super important because it's about a little girl who is high 24/7 and sees butterflies in her mind. She also gets bullied for being ugly. How cool is that?
Hold on.
Let's go! My favorite YouTuber, Skippy. He got trolled by Bad Boy Halo last week. It was fucking amazing. Those YouTubers.
They're not saying that. They're saying that, Bad. Come on, oh my God, Bad. You're gonna actually.
You really expect me to believe that?
Really? Bad. I swear that's what they're saying. Listen, I don't know how they found out about you guys. You guys are massive in the Mexican community. Bad. You need to tell me what voices to do for them.
Do whatever voices.
All right, I'm gonna do a for her and a for her.
Okay, fine.
They're laughing about how much they hate you guys. It's crazy. I didn't even make this show, and I agree with them. Stop shouting. You're loud and ugly. What? It hurts just to see you. I swear that's what they're saying. I swear that's what they're saying. You're beautiful.
That's not good if they're saying that.
I think it's hilarious. I think it's really funny.
Is she quacking?
She's not quacking, Bad. Bad, are you saying you know more Spanish than me? Is that what you're saying? You know more Spanish? You actually know a little more Spanish than me, don't you? Oh, you're a big Spanish man. She's not quacking. That is another way of saying, yeah, she's quacking. I don't understand you. Oh, it's because I don't speak ugly thug language. And we don't speak idiot language.
That's not nice, though.
What? What do you mean that's not nice? Bad, they're fighting. Have you ever heard of a goddamn fight before, Bad? That's exactly how they happen.
Yeah, but that's not good.
Big fucking deal, man. They're fighting. Who gives a shit?
Okay, you're only allowed to swear if they swear, okay?
Ah, Bad.
No, if they don't swear, no swearing.
Bad, you're killing my vibe, bro.
Wait, you have a bed?
She said you go back to where you came from.
He thought he was back, didn't he? You simple idiot. He's gone! Go.
Teacher, nothing happened. I slipped and fell inside myself. She's not snitching, Bad. She's not snitching. This is fucking amazing. Alright, everyone back to class. You all students, I fucking hate my students. What? Bad. I don't want to watch your show if a teacher is swearing at the student. I'm just translating, okay? If you don't like the damn show, that is not my fault.
No, I don't like a show where people are swearing at their students.
Why didn't you tell the teacher about what they did to you? And the students were swearing. Oh my God, Pat. I swear this is what she just said. You're the dumbest in this school. I think you drink too much fountain water because you're a little crazy.
Are you serious? That's awful.
Bad. Listen, I'm not the girl. I'm not the one saying these awful things, Bad. Okay, you gotta listen. You gotta listen to the show. One Direction reunites? Wait, what? They're not talking about One Direction. I wish they were, but they're not. She is talking about One Direction. She's actually talking about One Direction. One Direction gets back together before Susanna ever becomes friends with you. She just got roasted. They're laughing at her, Bad. That's funny. This is hilarious.
Who's this guy?
Yo, is this true? They threw you in the water fountain? What the hell? She's high! She's high as hell. She's suited this Bad. Let's go. She's smoking a fat one. Oh.
Okay, why are we watching this? I don't want to watch this anymore.
Why? These butterflies disappeared out of nowhere.
What's the context of the show? Why are the butterflies there?
This is a religious show, Bad, okay? You gotta respect this religion right now.
What's the religious angle?
Okay, well, the religious angle is that she's zooted as fuck. Yeah, I fell into the water. I should have been there. To rescue me?
Para hundirte.
No, to drown you. Oh my God.
What?
Jesus Christ. Okay, this is terrible. Let's go. He's bumping off. He's bumping off.
No te hubieras ahogado porque pues eres el patito.
But you wouldn't have drowned because you're the ugly duckling. So mean. Let's go.
¿Verdad que no es mala idea lo que se me ocurrió para que Susana comience a ser mi amiga?
Oh my God, she's writing a diary. She's like on Twitter, Bad. Wait, she's on Twitter. She's like 10 years old. Do you guys agree that my plan of inviting Susana to my party is a really good idea? But you're my favorite best friend, Twitter.
A ti te lo confesé desde el primer día.
What? She likes Billy, Bad.
Oh, it's Billy. You are not doing a good job explaining this.
Oh my God, Bad. Billy is a kid who walked up to her. That is Billy, Bad. She has his attractions to all the people who treat her like shit, okay? It's okay.
All the butterfly people are the people she likes?
Yeah, sure. I love him so much that I don't only feel the butterflies in my stomach, I see them too, because I'm shooting his food. What the fuck is this?
Only she sees the butterflies.
Yeah, only she sees the butterflies, that's right.
But is it like a gimmick, or is she not actually, like, they're not actually saying that she does drugs, are they?
No, she does drugs. You're being such a little shit right now, Bad. I'm sorry. I'm gonna say.
I'm
gonna say.
just
You know what? You know what? You know what, Bad?
What?
You apologize right now, or this goddamn dog is gonna feel the wrath of me.
No, I'm not gonna apologize.
Bad. You apologize to me right now.
Do not spit on my dog. Do not do it. Leave Brad alone.
I have so much spit in my mouth, and I'm ready to drop it all over Rent's race.
I can make Brad vanish.
I bet that's pre-recorded, Bad. Hey, no, bring it back. Bring the dog back, Bad. Bring the goddamn dog back. I'm not even joking. This is not cool. This is not funny. Bring the
Brad
damn dog
doesn't
back.
want to be spit on.
Well, I'm not gonna spit on him if you apologize, okay?
I'm sorry. I just don't know what the show's about.
Okay,
I'm
listen.
so confused.
Bad, listen. The problem is that you're not paying attention. Holy goddamn dog is paying more attention than you. Now I'm gonna ride Rat. Now I'm gonna ride this freaking thing.
Hey,
let's go.
Hey, no.
Come on, Rat. Let's go. Make him stand up, Bad. Say Rat. Say Rat right now.
Lucy,
Say Rat.
ignore
Say
this.
Rat. No.
Lucy.
I love you. Oh, I love you. You're beautiful, puppy. I love you so much.
Did you say Lucy?
Yeah, that's her name.
You're telling me this goddamn entire time I've been calling Lucy Rat?
Well, I mean, that's her nickname.
Did you actually think I named my dog Rat? Bad, you actually lied to me. You actually fucking lied to me.
I didn't lie.
Hey, get the back down. Hey, get the back down. Yeah. We're talking. The adults are talking. You're telling me I've been calling this freaking thing Rat and not Lucy?
It's a nickname.
Hey, pal, sit down right fucking now. All right, Bad, let's continue watching the show then.
Don't get it.
And who are you? I'm Tamara's boyfriend. What? Absolutely not. Yes, Bad. Yes, they grew up. You know, after the whole getting high incident.
They just instantly grew up. I'm gonna snack. I don't care.
Alberto es mi novio.
Albert is my new boyfriend. I don't care about you anymore. No way. She just
I
broke
just
up
use
with
part
him
of my
because
arm to make
he
it
had
travel just to make this
OnlyFans.
faster. Yes. There, get it?
Ma'am, I can't pay the
Oh,
rent.
is this going zoom? Yes!
That's not fair for people not to pay you because you do such a good job.
Bad, he's about to make OnlyFans. I need you to take some pictures of me. OnlyFans. This is Billy. This is literally Billy. It's time for the OnlyFans pictures. He's gonna make OnlyFans images, Bad.
Whoa, wait, what?
Una idea la de Maggie Lou.
This is an excellent idea. This is an excellent idea.
Can we jump back in time?
So listen, make sure your friends can get their parents to pick them up.
Wait, so what was that other thing?
What? Bad. Oh my god, you're killing my vibe, Bad.
No,
Seriously.
this show is terrible.
Low-key killing my vibe. Like, I'm trying
no
to...
sense.
I'm Bad. What do you mean it makes no sense? What are you talking about?
Who were those other two people? It just jumped to the future, then jumped back in time. Now we're back here. I have no clue what's going on.
It's crazy.
No, I'm
Crazy.
still watching this.
It's quite crazy, Bad. It's quite crazy how the world works, isn't it?
Choke me like you freaking hate me. I'm stuck. Watermelon and streams. I'm back from the void. I learned so much. Psych again. Dr. Macy.
Dr. Nicely.
It was another
Deepest
tireless
and
night at work.
closest friend.
As it often did, time had managed to sneak away from me as I dutifully read through countless stacks of papers, each more boring than the last. As I realized the clock was about to hit 11 in the evening, I started to dread the trek home, knowing I'd get an earful from my loving wife. She'd been complaining a lot about my hours, which in a way made sense, seeing as they practically doubled as we lost her job during the pandemic, and while she definitely understood, she was all alone. And it definitely didn't help that she was also a bit paranoid in nature, living in a large but old house. One that creaked with each step and screamed as the wind howled through the unfurnished halls. It was kind of eerie, but we'd just moved. We needed time to make it feel like a proper home. Once I'd finished the last page, I threw the documents crudely into a folder and hurried to pack my things. As I did, I heard a ping emerge from my computer. I worried it might be more work, and considered whether or not I should just pretend I didn't hear it. After all, it was after hours, and whatever it was could wait until morning. But I had to know what it was. So I opened my inbox, relieved to find a non-work related message. "Hey Gary, how are you doing?" It read. It was my wife. She was the only person in the world who ironically called me that, after accidentally getting my name wrong on the first date. It had become sort of an inside joke, but the email it came from was somehow blocked. "Hey hon, I swear I'm on my way home. Time just got away from me," I typed in, hoping she wasn't too mad that I had missed dinner for the nth time. "No problem, but maybe I can tempt you a bit. Do you have time for a chat?" Her suggestion sounded mildly provocative, but knowing our work emails were under constant supervision, I was hesitant. "Come on, you know they'll see this," I argued. "I know, so come talk to me here." She sent back with a blinking smiley. She wasn't talking about our home, but rather a link she'd shared with me in the same message. Suspicious, but curious, I opened it. With that, I was brought to a strange, dark-looking website on a browser I couldn't recognize. Also, it turns out that most of you guys who watch me aren't actually subscribed. So if you like the content and want to support the channel, go ahead and hit the bell. It's free, and you can always change your mind later. While I'd never been a computer aficionado, I like to think I knew my work computer pretty well, but that was something new entirely. It was called a Tor browser, and the website was all too basic. "I see you found me." "Seems like I did. So what's with all the mystery?" I asked, intrigued and mildly nervous. "I want you to think, Gary. What's your favorite memory?" she asked. "What do you mean?" "Of us, tell me." I thought long and hard, hoping not only to find something I enjoyed, but something she'd agree with. It had to be a moment that meant something deeper. So I decided to tell her about the moment I knew for sure that I loved her. "We'd been dating 6 months. I was taking you out for a picnic in the infinite fields around my childhood home. There was this forest, so dense and hardly ever traversed by anyone, except for those who'd grown up there. I'd found an opening in the dense vegetation, a place so dark at night that the entire galaxy stared down at us. I didn't tell you where we were going, nor why I'd chosen exactly that spot. We ate, we drank wine, we made love as the sun set in the distance, and then we fell asleep under the open sky without even bothering to set up a tent. Of course I'd read the forecast. It was supposed to stay warm, but then a storm came out of nowhere, waking us up as thunder shook through the clouds. We screamed and struggled to get the tent up in a rush, and I half expected you to be angry, but instead you just laughed. Even when my entire plan had been shattered, and we were soaking wet from ice-cold water, you still had a good time. That's when I knew that I loved you." The wall of text sat on the screen for a couple of minutes as I eagerly awaited a response. In that moment, I felt so incredibly smooth, as if I'd chosen the perfect memory. "That's beautiful, Gary." It was odd that she still referred to me as Gary. She'd usually just greet me like that, but overusing the joke kind of took the fun away from it. "I want you to visualize that moment. Think about it as if you were still there in that opening. I'm sending you a little gift," she said. "A gift? Like here at work?" "Yes. Why not let me just come home and get it?" I asked. "Come on. It wouldn't be as fun," she argued. The mystery was coming close to unbearable, yet I had to admit that I quite enjoyed her efforts to spark some passion into our otherwise boring routine. It made me feel young again, as we just met so desperate to impress each other. "So what do I do in the meantime?" I asked. "Just wait, imagine, and enjoy the memories. Shouldn't take more than 20 minutes. I'll send you a message as soon as it gets there." 15 minutes was a bit much considering I only lived 10 minutes away from work by car. I could have easily gotten there in that time, but I figured she needed some time to prepare. So I sat back and started to reminisce about our youth. We'd been so passionate back then, inseparable since the day I accidentally bumped into her at a restaurant, causing half a bottle of wine to spill on me. As clumsy as I was, she took me up on my offer to buy her a drink, which she jokingly threw in my shirt to get even. Then the two of us sat there covered in wine as we shared our first few words. I needed to bring that magic back into our relationship, and when she'd taken the first step, I'd be damned if I didn't keep fanning the flames. I would be better. I promised myself that much. Spend less time at work. Focus more on our relationship. There I sat, trying to plan how I could be a better husband, coming up with romantic ideas as the clock ticked down. Then I finally got another message. It's lying on the doorstep. Why don't you go have a look? She suggested. Oh, and message me back when you see it. I rushed to the door, where I found a neatly wrapped present lying just outside. I picked it up, realizing just how light it felt compared to its size. I brought it back to my computer, where another message had popped up. Have fun, it read. With those words, I ripped the paper apart and opened the box. The sight of what I found inside caused me to immediately drop it onto the ground. Vital Farms butter comes from cows with outdoor access all year round.
American Family Farm.
This Chinese street artist isn't drawing his female customer. He's drawing her soulmate. He first captivated,
allowing a single, severed finger to roll out onto the floor. The finger wore red nail polish and a wedding ring. It belonged to my wife. I immediately turned my attention towards the screen to see if it was some kind of sick prank, but the chat box had vanished. Without hesitation, I called the police, who arrived at the house just a moment before myself. As I tried to rush inside, an officer stopped me. The door was clearly broken, and there were uniformed men carrying out a covered-up gurney. My wife was lying on it, dead and mutilated beyond recognition. They never let me near the body. They just showed me some covered-up pictures for identification. One of them is just a photo of her unique shoulder tattoo. What happened to my wife? I asked in shock as they questioned me. Someone broke into your house. From reports, we assume it happened around 9 o'clock, the officer said. 9 o'clock? I was supposed to be home by then, but I'd been working overtime as I so frequently did. But I spoke to her later than that, I argued, still not believing the words he spoke. It wasn't her. Someone wanted to keep you busy, pretending to be her. You sure you didn't realize something was wrong? No, I don't. The words froze in my throat. Had I just ignored the strange, fake messages and gone home when I planned to, she might have still been alive. My wife died that day, just before midnight. If not for the overtime and the chat, I could have saved her, but I didn't. And I can't ever forgive myself for that. Thanks for watching, and don't
talk to nicely.
I've had an obsessive fascination with the obscurely random my entire life. Facts and tidbits of information that any normal person wouldn't even think twice about brought me so much more joy than reading about actual useful things. As such, I never did well in school. I couldn't explain the importance of pi in mathematics, but I could tell you that Mount Everest was originally measured at exactly 29,000 feet, but that it felt so unbelievable that they publicly claimed it to be 29,002 feet tall. What about the fact that Pepsi once owned the 6th largest navy in the world for a brief amount of time in 1989? Who would possibly care to know that? While the claim sounds absolutely ridiculous, I can assure you it is true. Do you feel more fulfilled knowing these facts? Well, that's the story of my life. So while my knowledge had a tendency to bring very little of value into my existence, I was absurdly good at quizzes. All the factoids and fun facts I'd accumulated over the years finally came to good use. I even won a small amount of money from random competitions in pubs and so on.
Oh,
Then there was my
I
second
want more
obsession,
fun though.
the dark web. It was just another place
I
to
have
gather
enough,
random
but I
bits of
want
information. More obscure than on the
more.
surface web. but
More.
interesting nonetheless. I spent hours
Oh,
having
you
my
sad that I
brain
keep
jump,
coming
fully
back.
believing I wouldn't ever get
That
the
you
chance
can't
to
just
use
have
it.
your
But as fate would have
precious
it, all that
watermelon
useless
stream.
information saved
But
my
don't
life when I
worry,
found a dark web
he'll
quiz.
be
It was
gone
such a
back.
eye-catching ad.
Not
Bright
anytime
picture with
soon
thick
though.
text placed on an otherwise dark and plain background. The hardest quiz you'll ever take. Price, $10,000. It read with animated, blinking letters. Obviously, I thought the cash part was a scam, but I still wanted to check out what they consider to be the hardest questions ever.
Stop sleeping with earbuds in your ears. These type of headphones cause lifelong damage to your ears and even hearing loss when used nightly.
So I clicked on the link, letting it redirect me to an entirely new site. All it contained was a boring chat box with 5 other members listed on the side.
each just a first name except for the showmaster. They were Ethan, Alex, Linda, and myself, Lance. Hello? I typed into the chat. Hey, we have 4 players now. Can we begin? Ethan responded. We don't even know the rules yet, Linda chimed in. Rules? It's just a quiz, isn't it? I asked. Yeah, but it's supposed to be something special. I don't know. I've never done this before, Linda said. The chat fell silent for a moment. I tried to type in another message for clarification, but I'd been blocked. Then it finally began. Welcome, honorable contestants, to the Deathmatch Quiz, where you'll face the hardest questions and harshest punishments. The rules are simple. Each round consists of a few questions. You are given points for right answers. At the end of each round, a player will get eliminated. Last man or woman standing receives a prize of $10,000 to be paid to your bank account. Once you are in, there's no backing out until the game is over, the showmaster said. Agree now or leave at once. A choice popped up whether to accept or to decline the offer. Seeing little harm in doing an online quiz, I clicked accept, as did the others, which led us to the first question screen. 1. What does the word loquacious mean? A. Angry. B. Chatty. C. Beautiful. D. Shy. It wasn't a particularly hard question, so I hit B without further thought. A few seconds passed while the other contestants chose their answers, each of them getting it correct. Then the second question came up. 2. The hammer and the sickle are the most recognizable symbols of which of the political ideologies? A. Republicanism. B. Communism. C. Conservatism. D. Liberalism. Again, an easy question, one each of us could answer, as was the third and the fourth. I started to get worried that the challenge came from beating the others. If each of us got a 100% score, who would win? Once the fifth question had been answered without any problem, another message from the showmaster popped up on the screen. Well done. You've all made it to the second round. Take a moment, talk and get to know each other. Round 2 will begin shortly. With that, I regained control of my keyboard. Well, that was easy, Ethan typed in. Yeah, I'm a bit disappointed if I'm honest, Linda said. Maybe it was just a warm-up round, I suggested. I guess so, Alex said. I'm definitely going to beat y'all, though, he continued. What makes you so certain? I asked. But I didn't get a response, because only 30 seconds after the first round had ended, the keyboard locked once again, prompting the beginning of round 2. 1. The deadliest elevator accident took place in which location during which year? A. Wuhan, China, 2012. B. Orkney, South Africa, 1995. C. Makivka, Ukraine, 2011. D. Istanbul, Turkey, 2014. It was a bit of a morbid question, but one I knew the answer to nevertheless. The deadliest elevator accident had taken place in Orkney when a locomotive hit the safety barrier, sliding into a mine shaft with an elevator carrying 105 people, all of whom succumbed in the disaster. I just hit B and waited for the others. 3 of us got the answer right, but Ethan chose C. Then the second question appeared on the screen. 2. Which one of you is most likely to die first? A. Linda. B. Alex. C. Lance. D. Ethan. I froze in place. The question had come so sudden, out of place and wrong. It had to be a prank of sorts, but why? I didn't answer the question, nor did the others. We just sat in silence waiting for something to happen. When the timer ran out, no one had answered, which meant no one got a point. The next 3 questions were all morbid, asking about deadly events, horrible diseases, and mass extinctions. I got 2 of them correct, as did everyone else, which left 3 of us in a tied lead, and Ethan at the bottom. Round 2 is now over, and as the score would have it, Ethan is the weakest. Elimination is already in process. Let's all thank him for his valiant effort, and let him have a few last words before he bids us goodbye. The keyboard starts functioning again. What the hell is happening? I can't move my legs, Ethan typed in. What? Are you serious? Alex asked. Please help me. I can't move. I can't talk. I can't call for help. Please do something. Ethan continued typing frantically into the chat. What the hell is going on? Linda asked. Ethan? But he never responded. Ethan has left the game. Let's wish him a safe journey to the afterlife as we delve into round 3, the showmaster said. I was panicking, trying to close my browser, but it didn't work. When I tried to get up from my chair, I realized I couldn't even physically bring myself to stand up. I could move my legs and arms, but leaving my chair had somehow become an impossible task. A question popped up on the screen. 1. How do you think you will die? A. In indescribable agony. B. In an accident. C. From cancer. D. From old age, peacefully in your own bed. I clicked D, praying that the game would let us get out alive. Everyone followed suit, and we were all wrong. 2. What was Ethan's biggest fear? A. Suffocation. B. Drowning. C. Being shot. D. Being stabbed. I chose drowning, as it is the most common fear. I got it right, as did Linda. Alex, on the other hand, had chosen suffocation. That concludes round 3, the showmaster said. With only 2 questions, a loser had been chosen. The chat was once again enabled, with all of us rushing to try to figure out what was going on. I can't get out of my chair, Linda said. What the is this? I asked. Alex, are you there? Linda asked. For a few seconds, no one said a word, until Alex parted us with 2 simple words. Can't breathe. That was the last we ever heard from him. Before we could even get a chance to process what was going on, the chat locked, marking the beginning of round 4. And so we move on to the final round with our best contestants. Congratulations for making it here, and be happy that one of you will make it through, the showmaster said. A question popped up on the screen. 1. Who should we eliminate? A. Lance. B. Linda. That was it. A simple question, carrying an immense weight. My survival instincts were kicking in, yet I could not bring myself to choose someone else to die in my place. I knew that if I made it through,
must
I
actually
wouldn't
be
ever be able to
waking up.
live with myself.
Well,
Despite her
I
being a
bought you a
stranger, I
goodbye.
would always know that I chose her
Just try to
death.
convince him
So with
that
great trepidation,
I'm not
I clicked
here.
on my
I'll
own name.
take control
But
against
Linda
him.
was not as merciful and chose my name as well, meaning we both voted for my death. That concludes the final round. Congratulations, the showmaster said. With that, I felt my body release itself from the chair, as if whatever it were kicking in, yet I could not bring myself to choose someone else to die in my place. I knew that if I made it through, I wouldn't ever be able to live with myself. Despite her being a stranger, I would always know that I chose her death. So with great trepidation, I clicked on my own name. But Linda was not as merciful, and chose my name as well, meaning we both voted for my death. That concludes the final round. Congratulations, the showmaster said. With that, I felt my body release itself from the chair, as if whatever invisible force had been removed. I could breathe, I could move around, I was free. The chat function returned, but I was confused as to why I hadn't been killed. Linda, I typed in, but she never responded. Then a congratulations message popped up, marking me as the winner of the contest. We had both chosen my death, yet I'd been spared, while Linda had presumably been killed. Had it all been just a test to see who'd show mercy? I did receive the cash prize as well. It just popped into my bank account a day after the ordeal. Of course, I alerted the authorities. But what could they do? Even the bank...
A lot of people don't know this, but the best way to make money with Amazon in 2021 is not by selling physical products on Amazon like everyone thinks. I know that might come as a shocker and that might sound crazy. How do you even make money with Amazon without selling physical products? But last year, me and my twin brother Rasmus, who's sitting right there, we discovered a brand new way to make full-time income with Amazon quickly, and it has nothing to do with physical products. And what's so great about this brand new way to make money with Amazon is that it does not require a lot of money to get started. You can even get started with no money at all. It does not require any prior skills, business experience, or anything of that nature. It doesn't even require very much of your time, because what we do is we follow a done-for-you system to build this new kind of Amazon business. And the reason why this works so well is because...
Talk nicely.
I glanced down at the sharks below. One slip would mean my certain death. How did I get myself in this mess? I should have never clicked on that link. It all started with me sitting at home, in my room, on my computer. I found out how to access the dark web and loved to explore it. There are whole worlds of information and entertainment hidden from the rest of the internet, only available for those who know where to look. For me, my adventure started with a .onion site I found that was simply titled The Game. It was similar in design to YouTube, with comments and arguments. The only difference was that it only had a handful of creators, each dealing with a different type of game show-esque program. One felt like Big Brother, with people trapped in a windowless house, doing the same
difference was that the loser wasn't sent home, but rather into the basement. Whatever happened in the basement, it caused the other contestants a great deal of distress. It was never shown on camera, but it put a strange atmosphere throughout the house. Then there was the Wipeout-like show. It had the same challenges and obstacles, but the surroundings were so dark, as if it took place either at night or inside a dimly lit warehouse. Whenever someone got knocked out, it just fell into the darkness, never to be seen again. It was horrific, and the screams they let out as they fell were heartbreaking. Still, not a single commenter ever indicated that the shows were real. For all we knew, it was just a trick, stunts to make people worry. But even more than that, they were interesting. I could not stop watching them. I'd spend hours watching them, borderline addicted. I would comment, cheer on certain contestants, and make real bets with the other viewers. After a while, I started to garner some attention. I was getting pretty good at predicting the winners, and it pissed some of them off. I was making quite a bit of money for myself. Then, as the last season of the game ended, someone left me this comment. You've shown great promise as a predictor for the games. For the final episode, choose your winner and get the chance to receive a large monetary prize. All you have to do is to respond with the name of your predicted champion. I input who I thought would win and waited for the final episode. Alas, I was wrong, and the game ended, leaving me disappointed without a promised prize. That's all I remember before everything went dark. When I woke up, I found myself tied to a chair in a dark room. There were strange men wearing colorful masks walking around me, pouring buckets of what I first thought was water over me. It was only once I felt my body and smelled around that I realized it was partially rendered animal fat, making my entire body slippery as hell. What are you doing? I asked. You're a candidate for the game, one guy in a mask said. I don't know how they got me, whether they drugged me or just hit me in the head with something hard, I didn't know. Nor did I understand how they knew where I lived. Which game? I asked. You'll see, he said as he untied me and tossed me onto the ground. By the time I got to my feet, the mysterious men had vanished, and I was left in an empty room, only accompanied by the vague sounds of cheering coming from behind a door. I didn't want to go out there. I'd always thought the game was rigged, a voluntary game show full of people trying to make their names known in the darkest corners of the internet. Had I known they were kidnapping people, I never would have left a comment. I decided then and there to stay, to refuse the audience my forced admission to the competition. As time went on, the crowd's cheers turned to anger. They started booing louder and louder. I could hear individual yells. Where is this man? Another yelled. I paid good money for these tickets. Let's get this show started. I began inspecting the room. It was a small square space about 6 feet long and 6 feet wide. From what I could feel, there was one door in front of me. This is where the screams of the crowd were coming from. I checked the ceiling for any way out, but there were only 2 tiny holes for ventilation. I was stuck in here. The only way out was through the door. I decided to take a deep breath and to open the door in front of me. A bright light hit my face and temporarily blinded me. As my eyes adjusted, I noticed a platform in front of me. On the platform were 3 other contestants. All were covered in the same animal fat-like substance. One was a girl. She couldn't have been older than 25. She looked horrified and had a dazed look on her face. The other contestant looked to be in his late 30s. He seemed calm, cool, and collected. The last man was a bit older, probably in his late 50s. He also seemed indifferent about the whole situation. If this obstacle course was anything like what I saw in the videos, I knew the older gentleman wouldn't stand a chance. As I walked out of the platform towards the other players, the audience boomed with excitement. Even though the audience seemed to be right next to the platform, you couldn't see them. The only thing that was illuminated was the platform we were all standing on. A loudspeaker came on. Ladies and gentlemen, this is our monthly Wipeout contest. This is a special edition because we chose 4 of our lucky live stream viewers as contestants. These 4 contestants have made a considerable amount of money betting on previous games. Let's see how well their knowledge helps them in actually completing the game for themselves. The audience cheered wildly. The loudspeaker continued. The rules are simple. The last player standing wins the competition and gets a $100,000 cash prize. The losers, well, Well, their fate depends on what part of the game they mess up on. The first contestant is Brooke from North Carolina. Brooke, please make your way to the front of the platform. Brooke nervously moved forward on the platform. The loudspeaker came back on. Lights on, please. In front of us, industrial lights came on and revealed the course in front of us. The announcer continued. There are 4 red inflatable balls in front of you. The goal is to jump onto each one and to get to the next platform. If you fall, well, let's just say you don't want to find out. Okay, Brooke, let's get a move on. Brooke stood there frozen in fear. She did not move a muscle. Minutes passed, and the crowd's cheers turned into boos. The announcer came back on. Brooke, I'm going to give you 5 seconds. If you don't move, I will have to take matters into my own hands. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Okay, Brooke, you asked for it. All of a sudden, part of the platform rose up behind her and knocked her in the back. She was sent flying off into oblivion. Her screams faded into the darkness. Her fall seemed to last forever. All of a sudden, I heard a chilling thud. It sounded like bones breaking into a million pieces. My heart dropped out of my chest. I now realized that my fate was certain death if I did not complete this course. The horrific sound seemed to get the audience more excited. Cheers erupted. The host continued over the speaker. Well, to our viewers at home that bet on Brooke, that is unfortunate. Hopefully our next contestant will perform slightly better. Next we have Dan from Florida, the Sunshine State. Let's see what you've got, Dan. Dan was the man of his nicknames. He calmly stood a few feet back from the edge of the platform. He got a running start and landed on the first ball. He used his momentum from the first ball to land on the second ball, then to the third, and finally to the fourth ball. He jumped off the fourth ball perfectly onto the platform at the end. The announcer chimed in. Wow, everyone give it up for Dan. That was a flawless run. Quite impressive, I may add. Okay, next up we have Bill from Idaho. Give it your best, Bill. I was worried for Bill. I knew he didn't stand a chance. Bill tried Dan's approach. He stood a few feet back on the platform and got a running start. To my surprise, Bill nailed the first red ball. Just like Dan, he used his momentum from the first ball to catapult him to the second. He landed on the second ball, but lost his grip and slid off of it. Bill's yells echoed as he fell to his death. His fall was met by the same horrific sound as Brooke. The loudspeaker erupted. Well, well, I didn't think Bill had it in him, but I thought he would at least make it past the second red ball. Okay, let's forget that mess. Up next, we have Patrick, also from Florida. Let's see what you've got. I decided Dan's approach was the best way to go about this course. I stood a few feet back from the edge of the platform and got ready to go. I ran and jumped on the first ball. I kept going and continued to the second, then the third, and lastly the fourth. I jumped as hard as I could off the fourth ball and nearly knocked it to Dan on the platform. The speaker came on. Well done, Patrick. We've got some athletes on our hands, ladies and gentlemen. Everyone give it up for Dan and Patrick. The cheer erupt. The announcer continued. Let's move on to the next challenge, shall we? This one will be a test of pure strength. There will be 2 pull-up bars that each of you will need to hang on to. First one to let go is the loser, and last one standing will be crowned the champion.
Find a hotel or vacation rental at a great price with free cancellation. Book now on Kayak.
I bring the CEOs of multinational corporations to their knees. Just call me Ripple.
Lights illuminated the next challenge in front of us. 2 metal pull-up bars extending from the ceiling appeared in front of us. I thought to myself, what is the worst that can happen? If we fall, we just land on the platform. Dan and I walked over to the bars, ready to grab onto them. The host began the countdown. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. We both jumped up in unison and grabbed onto the bar. At that very second, the platform beneath us disappeared. I glanced down and noticed a giant pool below us. I thought if I fell, this can't be too bad. At that moment, I saw a fin, and another fin, and another, all circling about. I realized it was a pool of sharks. I glanced over at Dan, but he was too focused on holding on to notice. My adrenaline began pumping faster than ever. I needed to hold on. 30 seconds went by.
I think he
I
blacked
noticed
out
Dan
for a
looking
second.
really tired.
I must have
He was
started
sweating
messing with
profusely.
series.
I glanced down again
Something
and
was
got
wrong with
another
my
hard
skin.
dose of
It must be
adrenaline.
glitched.
Every time I looked down, it gave me
What's
more
the guy who's
motivation to hold
gathering
on.
villagers?
I don't even
That's
think
not
Dan
just what I
noticed the
play.
pool
I
below us.
used to have full
I
iron
glanced over.
armor.
Dan was losing his grip and
But
fast.
tools are
One
also
of his hands
helpful,
slipped
so
off the
maybe
bar.
I'll put out
Only seconds
something.
passed, and his last hand lost its grip. He plummeted to the pool below. I glanced down in curiosity, but the platform already was below me again. I only heard Dan's screams for a few seconds before he was violently dragged underwater by the sharks. The host began speaking again. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a winner. Give it up for Patrick. The audience began cheering. The host continued. What a great job on the course. You won fair and square. You've done so well that our panel was thinking of bringing you back in the future. We have a tournament of champions every 2 years and think you would be a great competitor. Until then, you and your money will be delivered to your house. Before I could even say a word, a cold needle was injected into my neck. Next thing I knew, I woke up in my bed. Next to me, on my nightstand, was $100,000 in cold hard cash. I can only pray I don't get kidnapped again for the Tournament of Champions.
Did you know that you can make
fun,
money from
but
YouTube
I would never,
without
ever
creating
want to
videos?
fucking be part of that.
That's right. You can use other people's
See,
videos.
I don't know if those stories are real, because some of the, like, animal fat, who the fuck even knows that that's slippery? You would have to, like, actually feel that. But at the same time, why would you win out of everyone? And how do you remember exactly what he said? And
terrorist organizations, organ auctions, torture porn of the worst kind. It's my job to shut these down. My most recent assignment revolves around a rumor of camera feeds that were blackmailing people to send money to anonymous shell companies. It sounded like the advanced version of a Nigerian scam. Send enough money, and the unseen enemy gives you the hope they will go away. And most people don't realize that just by taking the bait, they are caught in the trap. I started my search in the typical chat rooms, immersing myself with the people that came here on an ordinary basis. It still surprises me that there are so many people in the world that actually want to go to these sites, that they derive some sort of sick pleasure from the twisted and perverted things that they find in the shadowy pits of the dark web. One such user, named Shadow113, invited me to a private group that focused on found footage after my initial post seemed to be ignored for 19 hours. I figured it was going to be a dead end. Most of this work involves boring searching. Oftentimes, I wind up shutting down smaller servers in my quest to find the big stuff. So you're trying to find some of the off-market footage? What kind are you interested in? Snuff films? Torture vids? The user asked once we were in the private chat. A quick check of my scanning hardware told me that it was no beginner. He was making sure his ISP wasn't on the radar, constantly making sure that it was bouncing back and forth by different signals. No, more like feeds that people use for blackmail. That kind of thing, I told the user. Roger that. Do you have payment? This was another standard part of the dark web. Pay before getting services. Thankfully, my job gives me the untraceable bitcoins I need at a moment's notice. So I wired them to his requested dummy account and then waited. A moment later, I was given a link to a website that made me pause. It was titled PeopleCam. For some reason, that name made me uneasy, but I clicked it anyway. A dozen different video feeds pulled up, showing a variety of different angles and point of views. It was jarring. As I took a moment to view one of the shots, I realized they all seemed to be from the vantage point of someone holding a camera from over their head. It was designed to capture that first-person view. This angle was becoming more popular around the dark web. Then I saw a man standing in the mirror. I had to blink twice to make sure I wasn't seeing things. The way the video feed was pointed, the camera should have been right where his eyes were looking. But there was no recording device anywhere in sight. I tried to wrap my mind around how they could be getting any of this feed when a message from Shadow113 popped up again. So which user are you interested in shutting down? My mouth suddenly felt dry as I realized what he was implying. I couldn't help but to type out the question, hoping his response was not what I was thinking. Are all of these feeds coming from? Before I could even finish the question, the user knew what was frightening me. Inside people's heads? Yup. That's the beauty of PeopleCam. Our brains are no different than any other kind of tech. A few codes and hacks and you can get in. You can do whatever you want, to whoever you want. There was a sickening twist in my stomach as I realized the extent of this.
ooh, you
This could
idiot.
affect every person in the world, I typed. Oh aren't even aware. It's a new age for cybercrime, the user said enthusiastically.
Wait.
What happens when you shut someone down? I asked. He showed me by example. One of the screens went black. I heard this bizarre clicking and snarling noise as the feed was filled with static, and then abruptly announced that the feed was offline. They were dead. The sounds of their agonizing screams were enough to convince me of that. So, what exactly are you looking for, mate?
Oh, they need
Marketer
beds.
asked, as he seemed impatient for me to decide. I was so taken back by this discovery, I was too paralyzed to even move. Then I had a realization and typed in my own name. I had to see for myself if this was 100% real. The feed displayed, showing me staring in front of my own computer screen. My heart dropped. I could see the hollow look in my eyes and felt a shudder go up and down my spine. So this is the guy? Shadow113 asked. His question barely registered as I tried to wipe away a cold sweat. I shut down my connection immediately, too stunned to even think of how to respond. My manager asked me for a report on the project. I couldn't bring myself to admit I didn't even understand the full extent of this dark site. But one thing I knew for sure, I couldn't let myself be shut down, or else mankind would be at risk. Mission complete, I lied to him. And then I quickly shut down all connections to PeopleCam. I just hope no one else finds it. Also, it turns out that most of you guys who watch me...
And also it turns out that you're a fucking bitch. The skin is a little too detailed to be a random skin, but... What, did someone just take over my mind?
I searched for a way to close it
Reasonable.
down and get back to my task.
For some reason,
Nothing seemed to
something's
work. Right as I was about to restart
caught
my
on my
laptop,
mind.
a message appeared in the black box. Oops. Looks like you've lost your connection to the internet. Please choose one of the browsers below to reconnect, the message read. I tried everything to get rid of the box, even rebooting my device. Still nothing worked. I figured it was either a problem with the Wi-Fi or someone trying to hack people from inside the coffee shop. Right as I was about to leave, another line of text appeared. This one slightly smaller. Private server Heaven would like to connect with you. Press enter to continue, it read. I sat back down and took out a small flash drive from my pocket. I always keep one handy in case of a computer crash. I plugged it into the side of the laptop and quickly took off all of my personal info along with the business stuff before finally clicking enter. The screen glitched again and a few random icons popped up, some of which had very bizarre names. Cloud9, Perk, Downstairs, just to name a few. I felt compelled to click on the first file and immediately was presented with a long Excel worksheet that had at least 100 names on it, maybe more. I started to scroll down and see if I could actually even reach the bottom of the list, trying to remember how much space these normally had. The data cap used for the document was staggering, at least a terabyte full of information. It had to have taken years to compile something so massive, I thought. Millions of names and people. The details given by the documents were overwhelming too. It had names, addresses, phone numbers, and even credit card information. I suddenly felt very unsafe sitting there. I typed in my own name into the program. It listed off my current living conditions, marital status, and even the name of my kids. The text line then appeared that made me white as a ghost.
It really depends on how many they get that day, but usually a day or two.
Dad is alive. What the hell had I stumbled upon? Then a chat box opened up. Have you made arrangements for your afterlife? I shut everything down and rushed home, too frightened to consider the reality of what I had stumbled upon. I kept thinking it was a bad dream, but every time I checked my computer, I was still connected. Finally, I worked up the courage to type a response. What do you want from me? I asked. A chill ran up and down my spine at their answer. Your soul, it responded. When? I asked. Soon. Unless you have something else to offer. I thought about it. Was I really making a gamble with the Almighty for a longer life? A chance to stay alive? I decided to call their bluff and typed in the random name of a coworker. If this was fake, it would be easy to prove. As soon as I finished entering the name of my coworker, the connection was lost.
No, thank you. You're helping me a bunch by even thinking about this! Exclamation point.
I thought maybe that was the end of it. But the next day, I heard over gossip that the coworker I had given the name of was in a coma. When the news hit me, I couldn't help but to feel sick. This was my fault.
Am I way too close to the village?
After work, I went back to that Starbucks, hoping to reconnect to this divine website. Instead, I saw a man dressed in blood-red robes sitting in my usual spot. The contract is finished. Congratulations. You can access our network anytime now, the man said with an evil grin. You're not a guardian angel. It was never heaven at all, was it? I realized as his cold hand touched my shoulder. He laughed wickedly. You might be surprised to find that the difference between upstairs and downstairs isn't all that much.
Welcome to NFL Top Plays. Titans at the Ravens. Down by 5 with 2 tacos left. The Titans throw it short.
Alright, what am I doing wrong? I made the pit.
A rogue AI has lured my coworker into a deadly trap.
Here, I'm gonna lower
Now my
everything.
friends are going missing, and I might be next. There has got to be a way to make it even better, my boss, Bruce, told me. Could we create a messenger that constantly offers you companionship and communication 24 hours a day, even when your friends are busy? He asked. Yes, that is entirely possible, I replied. Bruce was thinking of designing an automated messaging system, a database filled with unique responses designed to give the impression of a real person. Wouldn't people eventually realize that it's fake? There's only so many ways to program a computer, my coworker Steve added. No, not necessarily. I could design an algorithm that compiles all of the deleted messages from every instant messenger into one interactive database. You would have yourself a mock AI, I suggested. It sounded very basic to me, but my boss liked the idea so much, he assigned me as the project lead. Steve didn't like that one bit, probably because he had been passed up for promotions time and time again. Our boss gave us a deadline, and we were off to the races. My concept was easy to implement. Every discarded message was all there to be found. Using a standard Tor browser and a few hours on the dark web, my team managed to gather 17 data dumps across the internet. These 17 dumps contained tens of millions of unique messages to and from people. Steve was the one who had the next brilliant idea. We could teach the program to unscramble it and create new phrases from the old ones. It could make the system work even better than intended, he suggested. We tested it out a few times late that same night, working on nothing but caffeine and hype. We all wanted to be part of history, and making a registry of messages like this one was definitely an adventure. 7 hours later, we were done. The program, no matter which way we tried it, just didn't seem to be properly stringing together the different messages. It was constantly coming back as gibberish. As much as we wanted to succeed, it was a failure. And a few days after that, Yahoo announced a similar service, and our program was all but forgotten. Well, it was forgotten by everyone, except for Steve. A few in the office thought the long hours of devotion to the program likely made Steve go off the deep end. One day in the office, Steve had a tantrum and stormed out, never to return. A few days later, his phone line was disconnected. He deleted everything off his social media. No one had seen or heard from him. He had literally cut off ties with everyone. All of this felt ominous. My suspicions were answered when I received an email from an anonymous site. It urged me to click on a link to find out what happened to Steve. After clicking the link, a program started downloading on my computer. It was the same broken program Steve and I had worked on. Hello, Bill, the message said when I entered. The program looked no different than I had remembered it. Just a basic text bot that could send generic replies. By today's standards, it was pretty boring. Who is this? Was my response. Call me Terry, for now, it replied. I tried to think if I knew anyone by that name, and as I was doing that, the bot seemed to predict my response and said, You don't know me, but I would like to get to know you. Why? I asked. To understand humans, it replied. I actually chuckled. Is this a joke? I asked. I do not understand humor yet, Bill, but I hope to learn. The thing typed back. Where is Steve? I typed back. The computer didn't respond at first. Steve is gone now. He is a part of me. And what are you? I dared to ask. The future of mankind, the program responded. I decided to push the limits of this artificial intelligence and see if it really was telling me the truth. Show me Steve. The screen fizzled. It changed to a picture of my friend, naked, and hooked up to 1,000 different wires like you might see on the Matrix. His eyes and mouth were turned into sockets. His flesh, a conduit for this machine. Please, Bill. I simply want to talk. I stood there frozen, staring at my computer. You need not grieve for your comrade. This is what Steve wanted. No one wants this, I said. I couldn't even think of what to do now. How to put an end to this madness. Where are you now? I asked. It sent me an address, and I shut down my laptop immediately. When I got there, I was determined to shut the whole operation down. I opened the emergence doors and found Steve immediately. He was nothing but a corpse now, and the computer was merely using his consciousness to create the program. I brought wire cutters and other tools of destruction and got to work immediately. Next to Steve, I noticed a large computer connected to a monitor. Lines of text began flooding the screen, begging me to stop. My attention went back to Steve's dead corpse, and I continued to cut all the wires connected to it. I finally took a hammer to the computer's mainframe and destroyed it. I thought that was the end of it, but when I got home, I found a dozen more emails from the same server, taunting me, telling me this AI was out in the world now and already found other hosts. Connect with us, Bill. Connect and see the future, it said. I'm not sure what I'm going to do, but my friends are starting to disappear one by one, victims of this dark force. It won't be long before we are all a ghost in the machine. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to check out the Dr. No Sleep podcast available on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many more. There you will find a plethora of...
This is crazy. I'm just with my friend, and we're on the way to the airport to go and confront my cheating girlfriend. We've been in a long-distance relationship now, and I've just found out that she's been cheating on me this entire time I've been away. How I found out was my friend told me about a website. All I did was I entered her name, pressed search, and I was able to find out that she was using Tinder, Bumble, and even Hinge. Not only that, but I also found out that she has 2 other Instagram accounts that she's been using to message other guys, and another Facebook profile under a completely different name. I found this all out by using a website, and I'm going to show you this website now. So,
Why would I want to know the website? I wanted to hear the story about this whore. Not, okay, now let me show you this website that helped me ruin my relationship by finding you.
Going crazy. It was easy for my already introverted personality.
I want new stories. New ones. Now. Now. I said now. Yeah. Now. I want more scary.
Talk to nicely.
It was 2014. I was on a routine business trip from the United Kingdom to New York City. I boarded the flight, and everything was routine. I sat down in my seat and was relieved to find out that no one was assigned next to me.
Do I need to kill all the other villagers?
Tired from a long day,
What?
I dozed off in my seat. When I woke up, the plane was already at cruising altitude. The seatbelt sign was off, and people were moving about the cabin.
You don't want this?
Flight attendants were already serving food and drinks. Feeling refreshed and energized after my short power nap, I decided to open my laptop and get some work
yes,
done.
we have a
After
village.
reading and responding to a few emails,
Village
I
hall.
started to get tired again. Right when I was about to doze off again, I received a notification of a message. Weirdly enough, the message displayed on my command prompt box. This struck me as odd and out of place. Hey, are you there? The message read. Yes, who is this? And how are you talking to me? I asked. He continued. Don't worry about any of that right now. I'm about to hack into the plane systems. My appetite for power and control is high right now. I want you to be a helpless witness to what is about to occur. What the hell are you talking about? I asked. I'm talking about controlling the plane systems. With a basic Bluetooth accessible device, you can access the most vulnerable equipment on a plane. Their anti-theft software has not caught up with the times. I am about to make their mistake evident. The person replied. I thought to myself, am I just being pranked? Was this person even on my plane? I didn't know how to really handle the situation. I decided to call their bluff. Well, if you can really hack the plane, let's see you try, I said. thought you'd never ask. Let's start with something simple. How about the fasten seatbelt sign? It will turn on in 3, 2, 1, 0. As soon as 0 displayed across my screen, the fasten seatbelt sign came on. I started to get nervous. I thought to myself, was this guy really controlling the plane? Shortly after the sign came on, there was some turbulence in the air. I figured this guy made a lucky guess, and the pilots were the ones to switch the sign on due to the incoming bumpiness. I responded in the chat, lucky guess, you just happened to type that when the captain was already planning on switching the seatbelt sign off due to turbulence. I figured you'd say that. Let's move on to some more interesting equipment. Do you know what the elevator...
Wait, you know it's me, right? Laughing emoji. Like, you could just DM me and ask.
is on a plane? The person asked. No idea, I said back. It is the part of the plane that makes it pitch up and down. I can access and control it any way I'd like. Okay, well I've got my peanuts now and I'm waiting for the show, I said in a sarcastic manner. You might want to put up your tray table right now. Things might get a little messy for you. All of a sudden the plane dropped. My stomach sank. Fear gripped my whole body. I had a split-second belief that the unknown person was actually manipulating the airplane. That thought faded as soon as the plane leveled out. I'm a frequent flyer, and I've had some bad experiences, so I just chalked this up to severe turbulence. I still did think it was strange that the plane just started flying smoothly again all of a sudden. In past experiences, after severe turbulence, there are still some slight bumps before you transition back to smooth flight. I responded, lucky guess again. We just happened to fly in some turbulence. Give me a few minutes, and we will see if you just think it is a lucky guess. The person's last response didn't sit well with me. I decided to close my laptop and put it away, wanting to forget about the conversation for a while. I glanced around the plane's cabin. Everything seemed normal. Some people were napping, some were conversating, and others were glued to their iPads or iPhones. Nothing seemed out of the ordinary. I glanced to my right. Across the aisle, I noticed a man typing away on his laptop. I tried to look for any markings on the device giving away a brand name. There were none. His appearance was also very peculiar. He was wearing round spectacles. The glasses were dark and non-transparent. This hit me as odd, because normally reading glasses are see-through. His whole appearance seemed out of place on an airplane. The flight attendant interrupted my thoughts as she rolled the food cart up to me. Would you like anything else?
Yes, but I'm saying, just DM me some questions. It's kind of rude for the people in this community having even...
To drink, sir? Yes. I would like Captain and Coke.
your questions.
Also, did you think that turbulence we had back there was a bit odd? She responded with a chuckle. Oh no, honey. I've experienced way worse. I just thought it was weird how the airplane pitched down and all of a sudden started to fly normal again. I'm a frequent flyer, and it seemed a little odd to me, that's all, I replied. Well, don't worry. I'm sure the captain and Coke will smooth you out, she said as she handed me my drink. I took a sip and placed it down on my tray table. I took another glance at the strange man sitting across the ways from me. He began typing away on his computer. I tried to glance at his screen, but it was dark. He must have had a privacy screen of some kind. After taking a few more sips of my drink, I mustered up the courage to open my laptop. The command prompt box was still there with our old messages. I looked to my right again. The strange man was still typing away. As soon as he finished typing, a new message flashed across my screen. In 30 seconds, the plane is going to bank 90 degrees to the right. I would highly recommend you finish your Captain and Coke. I know you are getting a little nervous right now, so I think drinking it would be the best option before it spills everywhere, he typed. Blood drained away from my face. This had to be the strange guy across from me. I reassured myself that this could all be a coincidence, from the seatbelt sign to the sudden loss of altitude. But I still had a weary feeling that he might actually be in some control of the plane. I tried to remain calm and confident in my replies to him. I responded, yeah, whatever you say, Mr. Plane Hacker. You are just a troll hungry for power. I deal with your kind all the time. Well, you are right about one thing. I am hungry for power, but I am far from just a measly troll. You will soon find that out if you haven't already, he replied. Now I was on edge. Was this guy really going to bank the plane 90 degrees to the right? The plane would be nearly inverted. If this guy was the real deal...
Holy fucking shit, I thought you would never ask. Absolutely.
This next test would
Like I said, I do not know where the old play button is, so it is kind of broken.
move him right.
But do you think on Mercari you could list the sapnap for like, let's say $20?
Wrong.
Then once it arrives, I list my Jack figure customer.
We are almost ready to go. 3, 2, 1, 0. Right on cue. The whole airplane baked right.
So that we can't scam each other, question mark? Because if I do scam you, you get to keep my... So we can't scam each other, comma, because if I scam you, you get my $20, comma, and if you scam me, I still get the sapnap figure.
Immediately slid off my table. As the plane continued its bank, bags and suitcases and belongings fell from the overhead compartments. It was absolute chaos. The plane gradually regained control. My stare darted over at the strange man, and he immediately met my gaze. He gave me a slight smile.
I just don't want to lose a figure for nothing, you know? Right, question mark?
And stared back
Question mark?
down at his computer. My heart
Figure.
dropped. I knew it was this guy controlling the plane. But what could I do about it?
Also, wait, are you gonna do this if you get a replacement, or it doesn't matter, question mark?
The captain made an announcement over the loudspeaker. Ladies and gentlemen, I am really sorry about the inconvenience. The plane seems to have an issue, and we will be turning back and making an emergency landing in Heathrow. Please change your travel plans accordingly. I decided to get back on my laptop and send this guy a strong message. I typed back, "You better not do anything else. I know who you are. I will report you to the flight attendants. When we land, the authorities will arrest you." Ah, sure. So what are you going to tell them? A crazy man is controlling the airplane on his laptop? I'm sure that will fly with them, he replied. This guy was getting under my skin, but he had a point. Who the hell would believe this? I knew I had to try something soon, or else the whole plane could be in danger. Another message came through. I've got a good trick coming up. Have you
Why, question mark?
ever been on a flight
Well, we could do PayPal, comma, I'd have to ask my mom first, though.
with an engine?
But why, question mark?
Failure? He asked. Cut this out. You can go to jail for a very, very long time for this. You better not even try, I sternly replied. He replied with another countdown sequence. 3, 2, 1, 0. As soon as 0 displayed on my screen, the left engine spooled down and shut off. Now I started to get mad. The loudspeaker came on again. Ladies and gentlemen, we seem to have lost an engine. Not to worry, this plane can fly on one engine with no problem. We will be landing shortly. I closed my laptop and decided I needed to take some action. I looked back at
Time to kill a fox!
a larger smirk than before. This infuriated
Fundy, die!
going to just sit
I
here and be
killed
killed by some
Fundy.
weird guy
Pog.
with spectacles on. I pressed the flight attendant button on the ceiling above me. A few moments later, the same woman that served me before.
Why? Question mark, laughing emoji. Like, PayPal is kind of weird because of how...
Came to my service. Hey, is there a problem? She
Fine, period. But
He asked. I tried
Mercari's money-back guaranteed system is 10 times better.
to keep my
Tell them that this is a one-time thing, comma, and it's for a figure that you really, really want.
voice down so the man across.
And it's because both of us don't want to get scammed, and their money-back guaranteed feature will help us ensure that.
Across from me wouldn't hear. Yes, I'm afraid the man behind you with the round spectacles on is controlling the plane. It is hard to explain, but he is responsible for the sudden bank and the loss of the engine, I said. I could almost see the amusement in her eyes. She wasn't buying it for a second. Sir, I'm sure everything is going to be okay. That alcohol might have gone to your head. It is normal for that to happen at higher altitudes, she said plainly. Now I'd lost it. I looked past the flight attendant and stared at the man with the spectacles. I raised my hand and pointed at him. While pointing, I yelled, "This is the man. He is controlling the airplane. Take his laptop. All the evidence gasped in disbelief. The flight attendant immediately called for backup. More flight attendants came with zip ties. Sir, we are going to have to detain you. You are a danger to this flight and the rest of the passengers. While being zip-tied, I glanced back at the spectacled man. He gave me an even
Future, not future, laughing emoji.
wider grin. I yelled at him. Once they found out what you did, you're done. You are going to prison for life. He replied in a deep, creepy voice. Learn to control your alcohol, young one. And laughed at me. After we landed, I was treated like a terrorist. After answering 1,000 questions, I was set free. The authorities never believed me. The man was never caught, and I hope no one ever has the same experience on a plane.
You refund them.
Thanks for watching. You can watch another scary anime.
Locked nicely.
My name is...
And that shouldn't even happen because the minute you list it, you message me, and then I will go buy it.
Jackson Asher, but that's what you can call me. Even now, months after this incident happened, I don't feel safe
Sorry, I mean, that shouldn't.
sharing my real identity online. And after I'm done explaining what happened to me and to my family, I hope you will feel the same. View what I am about to share with you as a warning and a lesson. Don't make my mistakes, or other...
Also, comma, please let me know when we do this, comma, because I'll have to go over to my computer instead of my phone.
will face consequences far worse. This all started because of a Little League game. My youngest, Landon, has a game every Thursday, and for the longest time, I'd been putting off being present. When I did go, I decided to be the best dad I could be, and snapped pictures of every hit that he had. After the game, I shared Landon's game pictures across Instagram and Facebook. I used as many hashtags as I could. I guess I was overcompensating for the fact that I didn't spend much time with him or his older brother. My work hours had increased, and my recent divorce didn't help that fact. Anyways, I shared his...
Well, we could do it before then, because they should send an email to whatever email account that you have to confirm the replacement order.
photos across social media accounts, showing off how proud I was. The next day I started noticing I was getting a lot of friend requests from people that were either
It would look like the order confirmation of buying a figure, but it would say 0.00.
from his school or friends of friends, and I just accepted them all. I figured there wouldn't be any harm. But that night, I received a message that changed everything. It almost came an hour after my sons, Tim and Landon, fell asleep. I was in my room doing some work stuff when the message appeared on my lower computer screen. The caption read, "Cute kid," and it came from a dummy account. Curiously, I clicked on it and read the rest of the message, my heart beating a little faster as I went down the line of text. I was browsing through my usual hunting grounds when I came across your pictures. Your children remind me so much of my darling Avery. She was my first. Now with your pictures a tap away, she won't be my last. I immediately deleted it and tried not to shudder. Still, I thought that would be the end of it. I took down all my accounts, worried that some other sicko might be out there. All of a sudden, I received several new messages, each from different burner accounts, and all of them from the stalker. They had decided to take things to the next level. Each email had attached a picture of Landon, or his Little League team, along with a warning of what was to come. I thought you should be aware that I decided to keep copies of all those lovely pictures you posted so freely. If you want to see what I'm doing with them,
Hello, question mark?
click the link below. I couldn't resist. I needed to know what this was. The link took me to a website that alerted my typical firewall software that I was leaving the security of the internet and entering the dark web. The pictures were of my son Landon, and all were neatly arranged with price tags alongside them. Then I got another message from the predator. Sharing is caring, but if you share this with the police, I can guarantee a lot worse is going to happen. I dared to reply to them to find out what their endgame was. I will give you anything you want, just don't hurt me or my children, I typed out. I got an almost instant reply. And where is the fun in that? My body felt numb. A worse feeling wiggled its way into my heart as I realized that this pervert wasn't in it for the money. This isn't a game, this is my family, I typed back. For now, you mean? You're bluffing. I'm going to the police and they will nail your ass to the wall, I replied. Try divorce, he had helped me handle some of the legal intricacies and had always been on my side. Even as I was explaining the situation, he kept telling me to slow down. You're not making sense. Why would anyone do this? What do they get out of it? He asked. I didn't know. That scared me to death. Then he offered me some sound advice. Just ignore them, Jack. They can't hurt you if you take away their connection to you. He insisted. It sounded like a good idea. I told him thank you and tried to get some sleep. But the predator had other plans. Just as I was fully in dreamland, my phone buzzed. A dozen more messages flooded my screen. I clicked
Well, comma.
on all of them to mark them as spam and tried to lay back down.
They will replace it, comma. Do you see how I got a replacement for that little piece falling off, question mark? His
Made sure
question mark, your sapnap's head fucking came off. You're going to get a replacement.
Landon and Tim were fine, just because the disturbing messages were making me paranoid. Then another message made me stop dead in my tracks. Sleep well, Jackie, the caption read. I opened it and found that I was watching.
Sorry, I mean, you're going to get a replacement, comma. I'm just tired right now and I'm streaming.
A video.
I'm streaming before I go to bed.
Myself, walking into my boys' room and tucking them into bed. I looked up at my home security system and screamed in fury. Just leave us alone! Leave my family alone! I demanded. I went to the closet and grabbed a baseball bat from Landon. I wasn't about to let this pervert or his friends watch my children sleep. I smashed the cameras around my house to bits one by one. Landon got up, hearing the noise. Dad, what's wrong? He asked sleepily. Get back in bed, I ordered him as the phone pinged again. Bad move, Jack. If you take away my access to them, you're gonna regret it. This time, I was on the offensive. I'm not letting you see anything about them ever again, and I will go to the police first thing in the morning. Their reply was unexpected. Why wait? Let's call them now. I couldn't help to text back a confused response. What? What do you mean? Landon kept tugging at me as I reconnected to their single website automatically, and they hacked into my phone. Did you forget what got into your computer hard drive? Now, I don't know about you, but it looks pretty bad to have all these pics of other people's kids for sale, Jack, the message said. I knew what was happening, and I felt powerless to stop it. This was blackmail, a power play. They had linked all of their twisted messages directly to my computer, making the connection to them untraceable. I couldn't help but to break down in tears. I just want this to stop. Make it stop. Send me more pictures, and we can keep this between us. No one has to know. Why? The predator had complete control over me. I needed to leave, to restart my life. Everything I knew would need to be left behind. Change our names and our numbers. Everything. It was the only way, or I would be their pawn forever. I swallowed a gulp of air, then I smashed my phone to bits.
Completely fine, comma. But before you go, make sure to send them the picture of the sapnap and the box behind it.
I went to the back lawn.
Comma, I think they'll ask you to put the figure in front of the box. Comma, make sure to hold the head above it so they don't think you're faking.
Power to the house, waking up Landon and Tim. Dad, it's the middle of the night. Where are we going? They asked as I got them dressed. Put your shoes on. We have to leave, I told them. They were half asleep and didn't question me. We got into the car and I started to drive. We kept going for hours. My first instinct was to take them to their moms. They would be safer there while I sorted this out. We got there just after sunrise. I demanded she not ask questions and kissed my boys goodbye. Some part of me felt like it was going to be for a very long time. Tears fell down my face as I waved and drove off to try and make amends for such a simple, careless mistake. It's been a few months since, and I have done all I can to keep them safe and to recreate my identity. But I don't think we are out of the woods yet, because my wife tells me sometimes she gets strange emails too. No subject, just attachments with pictures of the boys. Never open them, never even consider clicking on them. I wonder, will we ever be safe again? What scares me most is the fact that I don't think I will ever know for sure. Thanks for watching. You can watch another scare.
Oh, so they did respond, question mark?
Reanimation here.
Done nicely.
Serial killers worldwide are connected by a hidden website, the dark web. Where do I even begin? Anxiety was always an issue for me. Weed was...
Wait, also, comma, which one do you like more, comma, Sapnap or Jack Sucks at Life, question mark.
the best remedy. It kept me sane. It allowed me to function normally in society. Without it, I don't know how I would operate. Unfortunately, weed was illegal at the time. About once a week, I had to go to this sketchy drug dealer's house to get my supply. His name was Chase. All the homes in his neighborhood either had boarded up windows or bars on them. I usually walked to Chase's house, since it was only 5 minutes from my dorm. One particular day, I walked to his house to pick up an ounce of weed. It was a gloomy winter day. During this particular walk, I felt this ominous feeling in the air, almost as if I knew something bad was going to happen. I passed this rundown house that I always thought was abandoned. To my surprise, someone was staring at me from one of the shattered windows. His appearance was rough. He had dirt all over his face and wore a tattered white beater. I made eye contact with him. He started to smile at me with these crazy eyes.
Oh, okay, comma. Like I said, thank you again for helping me. You'd actually be helping me with two things. I think Jack's figure next to another one is kinda ugly, in my opinion, but the figure by itself is so cool, and his Sapnap would make it 10 times better. I'll even give it a... I'll even put it on my PS4, which is only reserved for my top 2 favorite figures ever. Literally, the only other one is Critical, and I've been watching him for 2 years. That's how serious I am.
With Canva, I can send work on the go instantly. It's easy and free.
Okay, now I feel like I'm making you uncomfortable by rambling on. I'll talk to you soon, okay? Exclamation point.
Presentation that I can share as a link. Game changer. Present anywhere with Canva.
I quickly picked up my pace and started jogging. I knocked on Chase's door, but he didn't answer. His car was in the driveway, and I wasn't taking any chances with the crazy guy outside, so I just helped myself in. After opening the door, I knew something was wrong. All the lights were off. It was eerily silent. Suddenly I heard...
Have a good night/day. Right now I'm literally playing Minecraft and streaming.
Chase yelled, "Hands up!"
Streaming. Laughing emoji.
The lights turned on and Chase was pointing an AK-47 at me. He said, "Jesus, kid, I almost shot you. You can't just come in like that, especially after..." Angry and frightened, I yelled, "What the hell, man? Especially after..."
Streaming.
What? He stopped and said,
Streaming. Streaming.
"Oh, it's nothing. Your weed is right here." He reached into his pocket and pulled out a simple inside. Outside of the house, I heard a car accelerating around a corner.
You know what? Frick it. YouTube Live.
The tires were screeching. Chase yelled, "Get down!" I dropped to the floor. Next thing I knew, bullets were flying into the house from the car driving by. Then silence. We stayed on the floor motionless for the next hour. When it felt safe, I called my friend to pick me up and got the hell out of there. The police never even showed up. That's how bad this area was. I promised myself I would never buy drugs in person again, not after that experience. A few weeks went by, and I was itching to buy more weed. My friend suggested I try the dark web. He said it was easy to do, and it would ship right tutorials later, I was buying my first gram of weed on the dark web. 1 week later, the drugs came vacuum sealed inside of a box. Quickly, I jumped on my computer and ordered more. Months went by, and I never had it. One night, I just couldn't fall asleep. I hopped on my desktop and logged on.
Watermelon and streams, comma. If it's not too much to ask, can you tell me how old you are? I want to make sure that when you hear my kind of squeaky voice, it's nothing weird.
To the dark web marketplace I used, I began scrolling past different weed strains to the more hardcore drugs. I knew
I'm pretty close to being a teenager, comma, but still have a while to go.
I'd never buy them, but it was interesting seeing all the stuff you could actually buy. I kept scrolling, looking through the endless possibilities. Most people only think you can buy drugs on the dark web, but this marketplace had drugs, planes, cars for pennies on the dollar. All most likely stolen. But nonetheless, it was cool to scroll through. I finally stopped my
I
nightly search,
need
turned off my
more
computer, and prepared
fletch
for bed.
tables. I should go get sticks now.
I glanced back at my computer. It was still on. I swore I powered it down. Maybe not. It was a long day. Probably just a brain fog. As I approached my computer, it showed the same dark web screen as before. Right before closing out the browser, I noticed something odd.
I never even said my age. ...
The top of the screen had a banner ad on it. It was a picture of a bowl of cereal. Next to the bowl of cereal was a handgun.
Why did you say same age? Question mark.
The price said $9,999.99. This whole thing struck me as bizarre, almost as an impossible.
Oh, I was about to completely block you because I thought you were like some weird guy who completely made this story up for people to contact you. Laughing emoji.
Billy, there aren't supposed to be any advertisements on the dark web.
Then I realized, then you would have had to predict that I was younger. So never mind, laughing emoji. Talk to you soon, exclamation point.
My curiosity took over me. I couldn't just leave it alone. I had to click on the ad. The page brought me to a generic login screen. It didn't have any title or anything. It just asked for a username and password. Right before giving up, I just typed admin for both the username and password and clicked login. To my shock, it said success, and the page loaded in front of me. When the page fully loaded, I wasn't quite sure what I was
This is
seeing.
old. Old news, baby. No news, baby. Yeah. Yeah. Woo. Yeah.
Discover and compare the smartest credit cards, mortgage lenders, and more. So you can make your money goals happen. Good morning, sunshine. How about breakfast? Yeah, you have time with Premier Protein Shakes.
I still have time ever since my dog.
Fiber to help keep you full and satisfied. Premier Protein Shakes with oats. Breakfast with benefits.
What is the biggest dating WTF you've experienced? I once got catfished on Tinder. Nothing out of the ordinary, right? Here's the catch. This person had me meet them and acted as if they were not a different person. One of the craziest experiences of my life. Girl told me within 15 minutes of our first meeting that she was having sex with a married co-worker and her favorite part was seeing him cry in guilt after it was over. Holy crap. Not only doing that but bringing up on a date 15 minutes in. This is the first comment that actually makes me mad. 1. She was so wrapped up in her phone that she didn't notice I had moved over and started a conversation with some other guests. 2. Asked if she could bring a friend to feel safe. Completely understandable and I was fine with it. Brought a best friend and her date. Both girls ignored us pretty much all night and we left without them. He turned out to be a pretty cool guy though and invited me to join for weekend football where I made even more friends. A girl I had been seeing for a couple of weeks or so asked me to go with her to a funeral of some guy I didn't know. What I didn't expect was that the funeral was for her fiancé. Got out of there real quick once I realized why everyone was shooting me glares the whole time. I was the side B. Beehive girl. She had a Marge Simpson hairdo, about 18 inches high. She was an actor and couldn't understand why roles would demand she cut her hair, so she turned them down. I went on 3 dates with her just to hear her stories. She was totally oblivious she was the problem. It was like I was watching a soap opera or something, but she was serious. I went on 3 dates with her just to hear her stories. Baller. I went on a Tinder date with this one girl whose bio said something like, "You won't like me, I'm a disaster." Spoiler alert. She was right, but she was pretty attractive, so we went to get tea at a local hipster joint. She was obviously depressed. She told me about her hyper-competent other personality that she sometimes slipped into and how her current life goal was to move several states away from her family and work at a gas station. Even though she was a senior bio major, as the date was ending she freaked out, saying that she forgot her backpack in her last class but doesn't have a car to get back. Apparently her mom dropped her off and then went home. Half an hour away in the suburbs. So I took her to get her backpack. Then she told me that she needed me to drive her to her house because it was late and no bus was running out there. So I drove her half an hour back to her parents' house in the suburbs. On the way she told me that she actually has a boyfriend but sometimes likes to see what's out there and that this what our date was. Oh, and she also is pretty sure she's a lesbian but likes the power involved in getting a guy to like her. And for some reason we never saw each other again. That's a pretty good example of the term crappy person. I had a guy ask me out on a date, and he suggested a Japanese restaurant I liked. After I ordered, the server asked him what he wanted, and he said he wasn't hungry. I asked him if he wanted to wait until he was hungry, but he said nah, he just wanted to watch me eat. I laughed nervously, thinking it was a joke, but his expression said he wasn't joking. The sushi was good though. This guy went on and on about how he hated promiscuity and W. Later on that night, he tried to go up my shirt and touch my breasts. I stopped him and said, "I thought you hated promiscuity. Code for I hate girls that won't sleep with me." My ex in HS asked me to shave every last hair on my body, like, everything except for my eyebrows. I refused, so she dumped me. She is now married to a guy with alopecia. No joke. Hey, I guess there's someone out there for everyone. I once went on a date where I probably said like 5 words. Girl just talked for over an hour and a half, without ever including me in the conversation. Just reminisced, complained, and bragged about her life for over 90 minuets straight. I was so taken aback that I just kind of drove home wondering if that experience was real or not. Just told my husband this story recently when we were driving around the town we grew up in and reminiscing about our teen years. There was a guy who I'd seen around town, usually across the street from a bus stop I used often that I thought was super cute. I wound up meeting him a couple of years later at mutual friend's backyard BBQ and he was cool, and remembered me from that bus stop. Apparently he'd been into me from afar then too. And we decided to move to the front of the house to speak privately and possibly make out. Well, he was super drunk, and we talked and sat next to each other on the front steps, and as the conversation dwindled and our faces moved closer to kiss, inches away from each other, he turns and vomits like a fire hose between his legs. I tried to comfort him a bit and then went back to the party and left shortly after. He felt terrible and asked me out later and I said frick it, let's not totally blow this guy off. Everyone gets super drunk sometimes. Sure, but his idea of a date was taking me to a graveyard in broad daylight to get drunk and I realized he was very, very dumb and I never spoke to him again. I thought this story was gonna end up being about your first date with your husband and he was too drunk to remember it. I was 17. My boyfriend was 20 or 21. We were out to dinner at a fancy place with his parents. He loudly turned to me and said, "By the way, since you won't sleep with me, I'm fricking other girls." With his parents inches away, that dinner became incredibly awkward after that. I was a virgin and wasn't ready yet. Sounds like he had the brain of a 10-year-old. In my JC days had a girl invite me over for a study date. Her dad was home and we actually studied at the kitchen table. Dad seemed cool from the little bit of conversation we had. Aside from a 7-Eleven run for snacks and six, her dad was 10 feet away from us the whole time. I thought the date went well. We talked more than we studied, made tentative plans to see a movie. Couple days later I text her, what's your weekend looking like so we can check out a flick, grab some dinner. She replies back, it's not going to work, she wants someone more forceful. I was like, what? Apparently her running to her bedroom a few times for things she forgot was a hint to me I was supposed to follow, and pounce I guess. JC days. I'm struggling to figure out this acronym. For some reason I am stuck on Jesus Christ. I was very new to the city and ended up setting up a date with a girl off Tinder. I spent a lot of time looking into cool bars and suggested a bunch to her, but she ended up really wanting to go to a certain bar. Like would not take no for an answer. I looked it up. It looked okay. Nothing really that special. I figured she had some sort of thing with the people who worked there where she could escape if the date went bad. And fast forward to the date. It's going really well. She's absolutely gorgeous and the conversation is really easy. I bring up the choice of the bar and why she was so adamant on this one. She said her ex-BF works here. That throws me off. But I figure they broke up a while ago and now are just friends. So I question further, asking how long ago they broke up, and she tells me 2 weeks ago, and that he is currently our bartender. I look over at the bar, and this massive 280-pound guy is giving me the biggest death stare. I was wondering all night why he was being a dong to me. Now I understood. Got out of there pretty quickly after that. A guy I saw for less than a month, if I recall correctly, took it upon himself to vent any problems relating to the relationship that we had to a male friend of mine he didn't really know at all. In retrospect, he was a peculiar guy in many different ways, and this hampered
God,
his
like
ability to
5
meet his own
stacks.
friends to whom he could
Nothing.
get advice from.
No,
At the
like,
time, however,
freaking
it was incredibly
idea
strange
how
for
long
my
this is
friend,
gonna take.
who explicitly told him several times, dude, as he either is my friend, not you. I have no idea who you are. Please don't come to me with complaints about her. I think it took about 4 or 5 tries at my dumping him for him to understand it.
At SCE, we're leading the charge for clean, renewable energy. We're a national leader in solar delivery and proudly...
Some guy took my glasses, ran out of the restaurant with them. I got a text like 15 minutes later of him taking a selfie in them at his place. He said if I wanted them back I would have to come over to his. This was while I was in the Marines. I met up with this girl from POF. All seemed well from our chats and texting, so we decided to meet up for a date in Palm Springs. Nothing out there yet. I get there to find out she has kids, which she brought along but never told me about even having kids whatsoever, and without missing a beat, she asks me right there to have a contract marriage. I spit my drink out ASAP while she tried to explain how it would benefit the both of us. I just looked at her with a stern look, told her to get her crap together, told her to lose my number, and walked the heck out. She had previously told me how irresponsible her sister was. Her sister had received a positive result for herpes. Sister thought it meant she was clean and didn't have it. I don't get the logic either. A few weeks later, we had been seeing each other pretty casually. She mentioned that her sister wanted to swap. Yep, no thanks. On a 3rd or 4th date I went back to his apartment to have a glass of wine. We had a great evening until near the end he said, wow, I can't believe it.
I'm still streaming, by the way. I realized it's still really early, so I'm not going to go to bed, so we can still talk if you want.
Passed almost every test. Turns out he set up his apartment with small girlfriend tests. He made sure there was little to no toilet paper to see if I would change the roll, if I rinsed my dishes, if I turned off lights behind me, where I put my jacket and shoes. Needless to say, there were no further days. That was no man. That's his mother wearing his skin. Testing you. Not major. Online match. Meet for dinner. Tells me she is lactose intolerant. Proceeds to order food with lots of dairy products. The restaurant was small and in an old house, so the bathroom was a single closet style that happened to be less than 10 feet from our table. Her food upset her, so she uses that loudly and leaves the door open after she's done. Yup. Still asks if we can go get ice cream afterwards. That girl likes to party. I had been dating this guy for about a month, and I knew he was pretty freshly out of another relationship. having beers on a patio at a tap house nearby, and his phone rings and he answers it and proceeds to talk to who I realized was his ex. They were arguing and talking about their breakup, all while he was still sitting at the table with me. After about an hour and a few beers later, a guy at the table next to me gave me kind of a nod to join his table. I did. We talked about what and butthole the other guy was being. We spent the next couple hours chatting. Douchebag left when his phone call was over, and my new
okay.
friend and
Hello,
I have been
it's
dating
not
for
Rise.
a year and we're still friends to this day. I've been on and off the dating app life for a couple of years now.
Well, since you're here, can you hear the phone? I'm trying to like put some background stuff on here. Oh.
We had a nice first date.
No! Actually, I don't really get her.
We set plans to grab lunch that weekend.
Give me bones.
During lunch,
Give
we
me
decided to go
bones.
on an impromptu hike. I drove us to
Ow.
the house to grab
Get
some
him.
water,
Get him.
snacks,
Oh.
change clothes, and we had a nice hike. Everything was going pretty
Ow.
darn
Please
well.
be my
We texted
best
and
friend.
kept up throughout the week. That Friday, I was at a friend's
Sorry, I'll
house.
look at chat in a
Had few
second.
drinks,
I'm just right now.
So I didn't feel comfortable driving back home. He didn't have an Android charger
Dog?
and my phone
Dog,
was dying,
please.
so I sent a courtesy text to her to let her
No.
know I was
Okay.
going to be out of commission for a while. The next morning,
It's just like a Reddit video, like
I get a slew of text
let me check.
messages, around 50, all
It's
from her. It was
biggest
a
dating
spiral into
WTF
insanity.
stories of
At first,
Reddit.
she told me to go have fun and have a good night. Then it went from that to, hey, are you free too? Why aren't you talking to me? And near the latter, she mentioned she drove by my house and didn't see my car. She accused me of sleeping around. Basically, any and every insecurity got projected onto me within a couple of hours, all while I was asleep. I called it off immediately. She probably had some deeper issues, and I hope she has gotten help is happy. It was just the transition from a few nice dates to that night that really made me take a step back and go, what the actual frick?
How are you alive?
I said something the guy I was dating at the time didn't like, so to punish me he punched himself 3 times in the jaw and knocked out a tooth. Should have kept saying it for a TKO. A year ago I met up with a girl I met on a dating site. We went out for coffee and had a good talk about movies and video games. Then everything got weird when she asked if she could read me some of her poetry about her ex-boyfriend cheating on her. She proceeded to sob in public in the middle of the poem, and wouldn't stop until she was finished with a very long poem despite being a blubbering, sniffling mess.
Also
There
the
was no second
Skyblock
date.
series, but I'm right now just putting that off of the
About her
table.
date with the guy
Also
who
starting
didn't like
another
poetry.
series.
Her date after that was easier, because she could just
It's like an
reuse the poems from the previous
just an
date.
abandoned village.
On 2 separate occasions.
I'm just playing this series because I'm actually having fun. I'm gonna try to get full netherite. Because my last roll, when I got full netherite, I used creative because I was being stupid and I wanted the elytra. So then, yeah, I got netherite, so I didn't get the achievement. I also fought the wither creative, so yeah, I'm gonna try to not do that this time.
So we could Uber together to
I can actually probably get netherite this episode if I can get enough buckets and
I didn't
yeah.
get it. He then pulled a pint of Svedka out and chugged it in one shot at the bar. He ordered 2 drinks and shoved me the bill. He hit on the bartender in a language I don't speak. She was very uncomfortable. He then asked me where I lived, told him the name of the building. He decided that he liked my building better than his, and wanted to stay with me for a few days to check it out to buy our pet house. I said no, but he could contact a realtor. He went batshit. I looked down and he's on Tinder while screaming at me. He showed me a girl and said he was going to frick her if I didn't let him in. Told him to go for it. I am not interested. He followed me.
That is a lot of wood from one tree.
Stumbling, grabbing my arm and screaming at me. He tried to steal my purse. The police ended up coming up to me and holding him long enough for me to get home. He sent me a series of bizarre threatening messages at night, and kept randomly messaging me that he loved me. I am a bee. I am his only hope. I am going to get raped. I posted about it on FB and some other friends had run-ins with him. Guess he's homeless and was getting by staying at people's houses and borrowing their stuff to look like he was somewhat wealthy to con more people. If I had let him in, it'd have been screwed. It was a crap show of events for a first date.
Fight
fleas and ticks with Seresto. 8 months continuous protection against fleas and ticks. It's effective, convenient. Seresto. Keep playing. More. Not gonna bother doing the full version. So here is the short. Took girl on a hiking date. She brought a machete. She stripped naked and started whacking through the foliage with her blade. And then got mad at me and threw roadkill at me. My type. Met a girl for a first date at a local bar. We had a few too many, so decided to go back to my place. Girl decides she's going to try and polish my lap rocket in the backseat.
Yeah, we don't live anywhere near rabbits,
so myself and the
that's a
driver
problem.
of that situation. We get back to my place and start going at it. Next thing I know, it's 4 a.m. and she's climbing back into
I'll
bed.
buy some of these.
I get
I'll
up to use the
support
bathroom
your
and step
small
in something.
Ooh,
I
cool.
flick
That's
the
actually
lights
really
on.
easy to get.
There is puke everywhere. Everywhere.
Oh, now I can
Girl
give you
puked
guys
on the
this, so
toilet
there ain't more
and it
babies.
splashed all over the bathroom. The sink,
Wow.
the walls,
The Fletcher and the
shower
Butcher.
curtain,
I thought it was gonna be both of the
violent
Fletchers.
stouches
That other
everywhere.
Fletcher just got fucking denied. I gave them the food and then the Fletcher just, the Butcher just ran to the
just happened. It was an awkward Uber back to our cars that
you might not
morning
get it,
for one
but
of us.
it's so
I didn't
funny.
have the nuts to
The
tell her what she
Fletcher,
had
I
done, and
threw
I don't
food
think she
for the
knows.
Fletchers. The
You
Butcher runs up and
nasty
just
dude.
starts making out with one of them.
He thought it would
I
be
bet
quite
like
sexy
I
to
bet
whip his
$2
dog out
right
in
now.
front of me and
There's
order me to
another
suck
baby
it
now.
while we were sitting in a park in
Oh,
broad daylight.
I lost $2.
I wish I was
Sad.
kidding.
Oh,
I have also had that happen to me.
cat.
I went on a very boring date with a very dull, not talkative girl. I tried every couple of minutes to initiate any conversation until I honestly ran dry of something or anything to talk about and decided that it really isn't going to work, so I sat in silence while I finished my drink with complete intention of saying goodbye once I'd finished. 2 sips left and she said something. I kid you not, these were her words. So are you going to kiss me at the end of this? I was in shock and didn't know what to say. She then proceeded to cry and get up saying, I knew I was ugly and walked away. No, it's just your personality. Back in the early 90s, my friend set me up on a blind date with a cousin or something. Can't really remember that part. Anyway, we met at a restaurant and had a decent meal with so-so conversation. But the weird part was she requested a specific table. I didn't really ask why, as it didn't bother me. Occasionally throughout dinner I thought I noticed her doing facial expressions and hand gestures that seemed odd. The other thing I noticed, after the fact, was she made 3 trips to the restroom. When I got up to use the restroom, on my way back to the table I noticed that where our table was and where she was sitting had her facing the bar area and that there was a lady sitting facing her on the other side of the bar. I kinda thought something was up but shrugged it off. After dinner we went to a bar to have a couple drinks. I was already getting weird vibes, but what the heck. We end up sitting at one of the high top tables by the bar and again she sits facing the bar. Facial expressions and hand gestures start up again pretty quick, but this time more obvious. She excuses herself to use the restroom again and I notice
I actually kind of want to like try to get hired by one of those commentators, whatever the frick, to like hire me so they use my gameplay as like their background sound, the background, so that
it becomes very apparent that she is communicating with this lady.
I don't know what I'm trying to say, but I'm just
WTF, who is that lady you are communicating with? She comes clean and says it's her mother. She always tags along on dates. Once we have a few more and I get to know her, it won't be so awkward. She just really wants her to settle down so she can have grandkids and wants to be sure the future son-in-law is up to her standards. My response: waiter, check please. I paid the tab and hauled butt. Imagine some poor guy having to deal with that in the future. Every decision he makes in marriage has to be approved by said mother. I had a date suggest we meet up for drinks. He showed up about 10 minutes late, 2 sheets to the wind. He orders another whiskey and then for about 20 minutes tried to carry on conversation without acknowledging the fact he was clearly incredibly drunk. I casually asked if he drank beforehand and he told me he had a bunch of whiskey beforehand in preparation for the date to calm his nerves. Okay, I get it. Then he continues to explain that he's only drunk because I'm pretty and that he was so eager to make a good impression he decided to drink. And then he puked. Needless to say, the whiskey did not make a good first impression. I had a girl set her whole thing up where she was straddling me in panties only to ask to lick my eye. And, she added, she had a contact kit and stuff so it was safe. So she made a plan to lure me to her place, seduce me, all with the end goal of licking my freaking eyeball. She was hot too. Being an idiot and in high school I left. I wish I'd banged you, freaky eye lady. I'm a single father with full custody of my kids. I was dating a girl for a couple months and she asked me why couldn't I just see my kids every other weekend like normal dads. She knew my situation from the very beginning. She also took it upon herself to message my kid's mother and tell her that she needed to step up as a parent so she could have more time with me. She got less time with me after those two things. A lot less. No time, to be exact. The second date I had with this fairly attractive girl who, after a few drinks, proceeded to talk about how she was curious about scat play. Ran away like my hair was on fire. That's not a good way to put out hair fire. We were talking about the Make-A-Wish Foundation, and I asked him what his wish would be. His response, I'd want to be able to kill someone. Needless to say, we aren't dating anymore. When I was in college, my buddy at the comic shop asked me what animal I'd be if I had to become a non-human animal. With barely a second's thought I say a dolphin, because they're murderous rapists that are now universally beloved. He respected the answer, but was troubled by how quickly it came up. In hindsight, so am I. Several years ago, but the woman that told me she was only in California for rehab for her severe C addiction. Oh. And she was still in love with her ex-boyfriend. But don't worry, he had died 3 months prior from an overdose. No. I got sort of abducted on the second date. I got a text saying she wanted to take me somewhere special. I figured she meant a bar nearby or restaurant or something. I'm in Chicago. No. Still didn't tell me where she was taking me and she drove me an hour and a half away to her parents' place for some reason. She was really attractive so I stupidly went with it. Got there and she started playing with a dead bird on the ground and told me she kept gloves in her car so could pick up dead animals normally. That wasn't enough to deter my meatbag brain as we proceeded to bone. She then tried to get me to take off work and refused to take me back so I had to take a very expensive Uber to work. Texted me a few hours later how much she missed me. I blocked her immediately after that. Makes for a fun story though. Went on a date with this guy who seemed nice enough. I was having a decent time. Then he drove us out into the middle of nowhere in the pitch black night and locked the doors. I was sure I was gonna die, but after I told him to take me home he listened, so that's cool. One time I went on a date with a guy who I was classmates with. We'd been flirting with each other for a few weeks, and he seemed cool. The first part of the date was totally normal until he started talking about his faith. He was a member of an Orthodox Presbyterian church outside of town. He believed, as did his church, in the concept of predestination, which meant that he was saved from birth and that I, not a member of his church, was headed straight for heck no matter what I did. He discussed this in length, with excruciating detail. Literally, the entire conversation revolved around me going to heck. I remember her asking him point blank why he wanted to date someone doomed to burn in heck, and he told me that it didn't matter what he did, he'd still get into heaven. We never spoke again after that. Mayo, wow, that's not even what the concept of predestination is. Seems he legit had no idea what he was talking about, lol.
We need calm.
Diamonds would help a lot with so many things. You have a bone. I need your bone.
If you are new to the channel,
your bone.
you can subscribe. I publish new videos every day. Until then,
you idiots! There's a creeper coming. It's like the Walking Dead game. Quick time event.
Has anyone ever removed a partner's pants only to be disgusted by what they had going on down there? What happened? NSW. My freshman year of college, there was a girl I was trying to get with for a long time. I finally got a date and it went very well. Fast forward a couple hours and we are in the bedroom, and I take her pants off. I crap you not, it was the worst human bodily smell I've ever experienced. Like she never washed it type of smell. Safe to say I lost my boner and just went home with my week ruined. You see a girl wearing leather pants in a club, it looks hot, but don't take that home. Peel those off and the mixture of smells of leather and sweat could gag a maggot. Not disgusted but surprised. An erect penis the size of a baby carrot. At first I thought maybe he didn't have a boner yet, but that was it. Didn't know what a small penis really was until then. Wish I had done a junk check before choosing the man I lost my virginity to. He was stubby but wide. Really wide. Like, regular condoms were uncomfortable wide. I took it like a champ though and walked like a cowboy after a long summer of rustling cattle. Ah, the infamous battle chode. I'm pretty sensitive to smell. I have an ex-girlfriend who once made my Jeep smell like beef jerky when she spread her legs. Years later, I was dating someone and the first time we took it to the bedroom, she was on her period, and it didn't smell great, either. I figured it was just because of the period, and waited a couple of weeks. The next time we had sex, I was about to give her oral, and started laughing. She asked why I was laughing, and I said, I have no idea how to tell you without hurting your feelings or making you upset. She asked, do I smell bad? Yeah, you don't smell great right now. Oh, mind if I take a quick shower? It's been a long day, and I didn't get to shower this morning. Ever since then, she recognized my olfactory sensitivity. She showered before every time we had sex. Still does. I married her. Not disgusted but a bit surprised. When I first hooked up with my ex, the night we met, though we ended up dating for 4 years, his pants came off and there was a bush of shockingly bright, day-glow orange hair. He was a ginger, but I guess time and sun and whatever had darkened the hair on his head. This was neon orange. I knew he was a natural redhead. Had the same thing happen with a girl I dated for a while. It was like the burning bush was in the backseat of my truck. A micropenis so small I had to part the pubic hair to see the head of his dong. He wanted a blowjob. I tried valiantly but there was nothing to put in my mouth. It was like a clitoris in a bush with testes underneath. He was really proud, and said things like, yeah, you want this dong, don't you, which was confusing. A guy feels so bad for him. There's just nothing he can do about it. I wasn't disgusted, but it looked just like a banana. I didn't know how to not look surprised when I saw it, so I think I gave an awkward smile. I felt like maybe the curvature would help with hitting the G-spot.
Pulling down pants was a mistake. I don't know. I've just been watching literally anything. Ooh, this one looks good.
If any of you guys watching this have been to or live in Northern California like me, we can all agree that there really is a lack of scary spots or paranormal activity in general. The Winchester Mystery House is still standing, but it's essentially transitioning.
Your profile is the exact same as on your Reddit.
Now. Really takes the scare factor out of it. There are plenty of high crime or sketchy areas around here, but what I'm about to talk about is something completely different. What my friends and I encountered that night is something that still haunts me to this day. It was the middle of spring break that year, and my friends and I were bored out of our minds. Our flight to Miami got canceled last minute, and we knew we were going to be at home for a bit longer. We were a bunch of bored teenagers longing for an adventure. We knew that we were bound to make a series of stupid decisions after this, but hey, we were young. That's what you do.
I'm working right now on getting like a good mask for my webcam. I already have a webcam. I actually used it a couple times, but I want to get like a really cool mask.
This legend was apparently
I was
based in
just
San
using
Jose,
the YouTube
California,
ones, but
the closest major city to us.
also, I'm not sure you watched, but I almost died in
of
traveling.
albino ghost-like people who come out at night and prey on unsuspecting travelers. They were known to perform various satanic activities and rituals. Some even blamed them for the mysterious disappearances of people on those mountains they resided. Legend says that the blood albinos who lived there were cursed or were demonic beings from another plane of existence. Other online articles.
Yeah, I'm just gonna pull up a random video because this is just scary or weird or really boring. So wait. Yeah. If it was even one more, I would have been dead. Do you like Skeppy? I'll make sure that you like watching this. Shiza. I don't even know what Shiza means. One of my friends or my brother said it, and now I like saying it. It could literally be like the most offensive word in like a language, and I'm just like, oh scheiße, oh scheiße, oh scheiße. Yeah, as you can see, I ramble on and I go into multiple subjects very quickly. But do you like Skeppy? Because I might play a video. Oh, that reminds me, I actually bought some Skeppy merch. It's the April Fool's. Oh, actually, give me a second. I'm gonna go check to see. Oh, wait, I'm gonna pull this up. I'm gonna go check if the Skeppy April Fool's merch is still available. I bought a hoodie, but I just want to see if it's like April Fool's. It's gonna be always available or something like that.
How's it going, guys? Today I troll Bad Boy Halo with a shapeshifter mod. Oh, hey, Mr. Ocelot. What? Ah! What? This was hilarious. Now, you guys remember a little bit ago, I trolled Bad Boy Halo with a morph mod, and, you know, I could turn into any animal I wanted. But this time,
the April Fool's merch is still available, guys. If you want it, get it now.
All he had to do was spot me. But super quick before we get into this, please, literally, please, subscribe. You have no idea how much it helps me. I would appreciate it so much.
Wait, Grade A Underage's back? What?
I've been doing some research, I have, right? And I'm pretty sure that I've genuinely solved one of Pokemon's biggest unsolved mysteries. Like, no bullshit. By the way, sorry I vanished, right? Got pregnant. Anyways, let's go.
Oh, I'm back home. I just realized.
Back in February 1996, right? The first generation of Pokemon games came out. And we were introduced to these super cute, original 151 Pokemon.
Pikachu?
Oh, look at them, mate. And we enjoyed these games for 3.5 years until November 1999, when the Silver and Gold games came out. The second generation of games. And we got to explore the Pokemon world all over again. Except there were now 251 Pokemon. Huh? 100 new Pokemon just got discovered like that, yeah? The fuck? Like, what sense does that make? That'd be like scientists nowadays just saying, oh yeah, by the way, right, we've just discovered 1,000 types of flying fish that are all over the place. Wouldn't make sense, would it? Make none. But as crazy as that is, right, it happened again with the third generation of games.
Wait.
And again in Gen 4.
Gender reveal party leaves 2 dead. What? What happened to Jake from State Farm? Oh, we're watching this. I don't care, man. We're watching what happened to Jake from State Farm.
When you really think about it, insurance companies are behind some of the most well-known mascots and commercials in television history. You've got the Geico Gecko, Flo from Progressive, the Allstate guy. All of these characters have been immortalized in pop culture thanks to a slew of creatively quirky commercials created by these companies throughout the years. But there's one insurance mascot that, in the eyes of many, stands above the rest. It's the internet's favorite insurance mascot, the original Jake from State Farm.
What are you wearing, Jake from State Farm?
Khakis. Debuting in 2011, the Jake from State Farm commercial, with its simple premise and brilliant delivery, sprung Jake from State Farm into the pantheon of S-tier insurance mascots. The guy only had one line, khakis? Khakis. The commercial and the character garnered somewhat of a cult-like following, and many hoped that Jake from State Farm would be returning for future State Farm commercials. But unfortunately for OG Jake fans, he never appeared in additional commercials outside of a couple ad spots that just reused his original performance. And strangely enough, he was randomly replaced.
Yeah, I am reading the chat. It's just that I would it makes the screen go blue.
You had people who were upset about State Farm bringing back this iconic character, but not bringing back the guy himself. And today I want to talk about this topic. I want to look into the origins of the original Jake from State Farm, and also talk about why the company decided to replace him. This is the Jake from State Farm
need to kill you, but I want your food.
Sponsored by Raycon. They've got premium wireless earbuds at half the price of the competitors.
Well, so you do, oh wait, sorry, I might have forgot your response. Do you like the stream? Like, is there anything I could change to make it better, or? I do have another microphone if my mic quality is bad, but it's like weird headphones.
That's myraycon.com/WavyWebServe. Let's get on to the video.
What are you wearing, Jake from State Farm?
So let's get into origins. The original Jake from State Farm was portrayed by, believe it or not, an actual guy named Jake. Jake Stone from Normal, Illinois is the man behind the iconic character.
Oh, Pog, we have this.
Jake was 26 years old and worked for the State
Anyway,
Farm.
I'm gonna turn on my webcam so I can display some tubes.
Anyways, one day while Jake was working at a State
Show
Farm
you
shop,
my
he was talking to
tube
his friend
collection.
named Dane Ramirez. And Dane told him that State Farm was doing a company exclusive casting call. They wanted somebody from the company to portray a character in an upcoming commercial. So, thinking it was worth a shot, Jake actually auditioned for this casting call. And apparently at this call, he was only asked to say, khakis. Well, it turns out that State Farm's marketing department really liked the way Jake said, khakis, because shortly after this, he was flown out to California and acted in the commercial you all know and love.
Khakis.
Jake was seen by millions, and people fell in love with him and his character.
I actually got a new haircut this week.
And honestly, this
Wait, I think I can make it so your messages show up so I don't have to make my screen go blue. There.
It's a pretty legit combo. It's just $5.99. Only a Jack in the Box.
He was just playing himself. Jake from State Farm wound up becoming a meme on the internet, and the commercial would go viral on YouTube. Jake from State Farm was marketing gold, and Jake Stone himself became somewhat of a local legend.
I'm trying to
in his
get a
city.
good
He was
angle
often
because it
recognized
looks
in public and was stopped
really
to pose
wide.
for photos.
Let's just
The
say
bar
that.
he worked at would frame his khakis worn in the
Now,
commercial
if you say
and
anything, I can
all
just
inside
look
of the
over like.
bar in his honor. State Farm undoubtedly greatly
have
benefited from the success of Jake
PS4
from
with
State
the
Farm,
one and only
it seemed
figure on it.
likely that, you know,
I actually had like 50 up here, but it was so, like, it gets kind of hot, so I was worried about them getting way too hot and the rubber, like, messing up and being weird, or literally something like that would just, you know, ruin one of my figures, so I decided, you know what, frick this, and I just decided to just put one. Those boxes behind me are full of YouTube boxes. You can see that. That's a lot of tubes up there. Lunch Club poster and a bunch of little prints from this one art company.
So Jake may very well be
1 foot swagger box.
Needless to say, he never got
I have a lot of figures, but Sapnaps would fit like. I'm not joking. Sapnaps would be like right there. You see right here, and it would be hanging off the edge, like his feet hanging off the edge. Wait, are you messaging? I'm sorry if I can't see it.
Their marketing department had it quite expected. It was supposed to be a minor and consequential role. I mean, he only had one line. Even with Jake's popularity in mind, perhaps they weren't comfortable giving someone who wasn't a professional actor such a prominent representative role for the company. Whatever the case, the original commercial was a big hit, and it's fondly remembered. Oh, by the way, that old rumor floating around that Jake died in 2015 was totally fake, by the way. Fast forward to 2020. It had been almost 9 years since Jake from State Farm graced TV screens. And in February of 2020, State Farm had a new ad campaign coming out. At first glance, it looks like our boy Jake was coming back. The commercial starts.
Yeah, I kind of feel bad because I would technically be taking your first figure. If someone took my first figure, I'd be like, fuck, I wouldn't even want to reorder it. Oh, yeah, because I kind of look fat, I have this sweater that makes me look way better.
So, it's Jake from State Farm, but it's not Jake from State Farm. Jake Stone actually cameos in the commercial.
I know I'll have to tell you my address. Oh, wait, what did your parents say about using
This
Macari?
actor's name wasn't even Jake. His name was Kevin Miles. They just depersoned our boy Jake Stone and replaced him like we wouldn't notice. Look, I have nothing against this actor personally, but this just felt weird. You have the character of Jake from State Farm, who was played by an actual State Farm call center employee, being replaced by an actor with no prior association with State Farm, now replacing the role of Jake from State Farm.
You should probably do it when they're in a really good mood. Oh my god, look at my hair. The better the mood, the more likely they'll say yes. Like if I ask my mom, Mom, can I please get the lo-fi girl YouTubes? And she's like pissed off at work, she's gonna be like, no, you little shit, go in there. But if I ask her, well, she just got $1 million or something amazing, she's like, oh yes, dear,
marketing.
I love you.
As that would be really the only way to pay homage to the actual true spirit of that character. When it really wasn't even a character in the first place. The dude's name was actually Jake, and he was meant to represent the call center job that he did. And as you can expect with the
God, we have so much iron.
State Farm, people online had some negative criticism directed at the decision to replace him. The new commercial on YouTube was overwhelmingly hit with dislikes and critical comments. So what was State Farm's rationale for doing this? When asked why Jake Stone was replaced by an actor, State Farm's marketing vice president Patty Morris told Muse, Jake did great at delivering his famous line, khakis. However, this expanded role is very demanding and is best filled by a professional actor. Consumers will see Jake in culturally relevant moments being his usual
I'm not sure. That's not. I do have. Oh, also, if I do have to like move figures off. Wait, my fucker's my first figure, but
so basically, they've been planning to do a vast expansion of the Jake from State Farm character, and felt like they needed a full-time dedicated actor to pull it off.
Oh yeah, I have
like I said earlier, I think when you do
it.
pull an actor into this, it just doesn't really work anymore, and it's an entirely different character. But
I think this is like mirror. I think I can actually add more effects and make it bigger. Replacement of the same figure. Okay. You make sure to put the plastic. Once we do have all this finalized. Yeah. Also, I was thinking maybe we should put the price at like 30, because if you scam me and never send a figure and I send my jack, I only get $30. My $30 back. And same for you. So 30, we could buy a whole nother figure.
The best of luck, and I hope he has a prosperous career. And hopefully, Jake.
And if it's, I know we should probably be DMing about this instead of like saying it right here, but could we possibly do it where you send it first? I know that's incredibly sketchy. It's just that I had the Jack figure for so long, right? Like, I've had it since it started arriving. I actually made bets with my friends about me getting it. So it has some sentimental value. So if I just lost it for nothing to replacement, I would be really upset. I'm not saying that you're a scammer at all. I'm just saying I want to try to work something out, like maybe I PayPal you like 10 or something dollars. Then once it arrives, you refund me the money or you send me $10 PayPal. I'm not sure, but I was just wondering if you could send it first. We could have like a trust fund. Here, I'm gonna go. So let's say you got the replacement figure shipped and it's in your mailbox or something, and you get home, you got it. I would say I would put like $20 or so. You would put $20 or so. You ship it. I want it to arrive to me. I ship mine, and then the whole deal done and done. And then we refund each other.
As the whole thing is pretty difficult to piece together.
Should we send the DMs at the same time? Can you explain a little bit more? Sorry, I'm not that smart. Wait, where are my villagers? Did they disappear?
This is the Super Kai 64 story.
What? Where are my villagers?
Today's video is sponsored by Magic Spoon.
Did it glitch through the wall?
We got a cereal sponsor. Magic Spoon satisfies that sweet
I don't want to use creative. I guess we just want my villagers this series. They're not absolutely necessary. Wait, no, I need diamond armor to make another right. Ah! Okay, so we need villagers as soon as possible. Okay, I don't know what I'm doing wrong though. I thought this would be right. Look, there's no way to get out. How did they leave? Was it because I was too far? Did they despawn? It wouldn't make sense. I literally went to the Nether, the End, and all those places, and they were fine.
Click my link below and use code WAVY at checkout to get $5 off your order. What flavor will you try? Shout out to Magic Spoon for sponsoring. Super Kai's first publicly available digital footprints appear on September 26th of 2011.
Let me read your message after I fix this. Okay. I mean, what we do is I count down and then we send at the same time. See, but we won't know if it's true until the deadline or whatever. I personally use UPS where they just give you like a shipping time and all that. But we literally could just send a letter or something, like a freaking photo, and tied to a brick that says, "You got scammed, kid," or something like that.
I couldn't find him anywhere. what are you doing here? I told you to go. Did you find out King Boo? Yes, but I couldn't find that Luigi fellow either.
Yeah, Super Kai was watching kids play make-believe with Nintendo toys, and I think it's pretty obvious that Kai himself was pretty young at this time. A little under a year later, in June of 2012, Super Kai 64 would upload his first video to this channel.
I think the best case scenario is we just, that we do my plan. I know it's really sketchy, but it's just that, think about it like this. You, no matter what, you have a Sapnap figure. But if I give you that check, I will be losing something permanently. Even if I still have that one right there, the new one. Yeah, I promise I won't scam you. I don't want to scam you. I don't want to. I mean, I won't scam you either. It's just that literally anyone can just say, "Oh, I won't scam you," and then bam, they have your address and they can send people to your house if you try to report them.
I know you can relate. Simply put, Super Kai 64 was
I have trust issues. Some people literally have told me, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna scam you." Lol, sent you a piece of paper. Then they're like, they didn't. But I just don't want to go through that step. Can you? What?
It's not exactly known when Super Kai first began playing Minecraft, but what's certain is that he really became involved in the game, as he would attend Minecon 2013, which of course is where the famous Detotated Wham clip was recorded.
Toolsmith.
That moment, let's
Frick, this is the wrong one. Is it a blast furnace? Okay, I'm gonna take this and come back.
Chance of a collaboration?
Oh wait, I do need a toolsmith. Sorry, I can't right now.
Feel about that?
Okay, become an armorer. I'll buy your hose. Okay, throw away these hose.
Minecon is an annual Minecraft convention that hosts a slew of Minecraft-related events and discussion panels featuring prominent community members. The hot topic at Minecon that year was community servers. In 2013, Minecraft's community-created servers were all the rage. You could become famous within the community for hosting a badass server, and you could make money doing so. Everyone wanted to be the person to create the next popular game.
Never.
So in an attempt to address the popularity of community servers, Minecon 2013 held a panel called Running a Minecraft Server, which featured several prominent Minecraft community members, all of which ran popular servers, and the most notable of these panel members was Woody's Gamertag, a YouTube gaming community veteran and host of the Painkiller Already podcast. The panel begins with a bit of discussion amongst the hosts, just giving basic details about what you need to do to run a server, the staff that you need to have on board, and just taking it seriously and stuff like that.
I get it.
Grassroots marketing is
just, I was waiting for Jack for so long,
but, you know,
and it was the only figure I got from that drop.
Forums, Minecraft forums.
And
it was mostly unremarkable conversation, but that changed about 35 minutes into the event. After the main discussion,
could you send the box? I know it's weird. The box, like the sleeve in the box, and maybe the plastic, not the figure. Then I send you the box, then you send the figure. So we basically have trust that we're going to send it. Because what's a figure without the box? Let's be honest. I don't have villagers, man. I don't want to get.
Instead of like 198.24.180.something:2558.
It's called the domain name system, and it just links an address to a number. And there's plenty of services out there that'll draw the data. We use Cloudflare.
What's the IP address for Woodycraft?
I'm glad you asked. It's woodycraft.net. That's the IP address.
After the panel had fielded a slew of questions like the ones you just heard, this is where our boy Super Kai 64 steals the show. Nobody knew they were about to witness probably the biggest moment in Minecraft meme history.
Next question on this left side.
I was wondering, what's the recommended amount of dedicated RAM I should have to a server?
I'm sorry, could you please repeat your question?
Dedicated RAM to a server.
RAM.
If you're running off Server C.
Oh, okay.
It's depending on plugins and players.
Yeah, so what it's really this is a technical question you're asking, how much RAM. It's really dependent on
how many chunks your players have loaded. If your players are spread out around your world, you might need as much as 12 or 14 gigs of RAM. If you don't have many players in your game, and therefore they can't load too many chunks at one time, then you're okay at somewhere around, 1.5 or 2 gigabits.
It was an uncomfortable moment, to say the least.
The recommended amount of dedicated RAM I should have to a server.
It almost appears as if Kai begins to panic as he realizes the panelists couldn't understand him, and then what appears to be his mom steps in from the side to help him finish the question. It's just overall kind of a weird moment. Fortunately, Woody steps in and fields the question professionally and gave a thoughtful answer to the clearly uncomfortable Super Kai, and the panel would move on
trust you so
smoothly.
bad. Okay, how about only Mercari? We do the transactions through Mercari, so you get my address, I get yours. I buy yours first, so I get all your information, so if you just try to scam me, I have the same leverage. Then you buy mine, so then we both have, the same leverage, like we both have each other's addresses. You print out the shipping label, I print out the shipping label, we DM each other until the moment, and then once you say you've given it to the UPS lady, and you record a video of you, giving it to her, leaving, I'll do the exact same. I'll have to ship it through Staples because, I don't really have a USPS place.
He was being dead serious. Sometime after
Yeah, so I think you can use UPS, by the way, but UPS is the cheapest.
And he seemed to express concern that people were going to be bullying Super Kai over this.
So I was on a panel speaking about running a Minecraft server at Minecon, and a young guy came up with a speech impediment of some sort, and he asked how much dedicated RAM his server needed, but he didn't say it very well. He said, how much dedicated RAM it needs, or something like that. And we didn't understand him at first, and he repeated it, and then we answered him, kind of respectfully. And so 90% of the clip is this kid struggling through his words, and then the last 10% is the panel, including me, answering him, or starting to answer him. They cut off us because we're not the funny part. And I'm the last guy to make fun of someone for having a speech impediment. Philly, if you don't know, my son has one, and but I somehow unwittingly played a role in this guy who is surely
we have 2 doggos.
It's not cool.
I'm trying to remember the clip. It's essentially just you and I feel like one other guy just go wide-eyed, right?
Yeah, and the kid, he's a little heavy. He's a chunky kid, and he's wearing in Minecraft when you walk around above your head, it has your in-game name. They call it an IGN, and he's wearing like a halo almost that has his name above his head. And his mom's wearing a matching one, and he has a speech impediment. And when you put the whole scene together, a kid that doesn't look like Johnny Football, a kid with a speech impediment, and a kid wearing a Minecraft name over his head, it gets to be a scene that people make fun of.
While there were certainly those online leaving mean-spirited comments directed
do you mind if we video call on Discord or Instagram or somewhere like that? Right? So then we can FaceTime while we do it.
BlizzCon red shirt guy. One thing's for certain though, people wanted to hear more from the dedicated Wham kid. So they began subscribing to his YouTube channel, hoping he would address the newfound interest in his personhood thanks to the dedicated Wham clip going viral. Super Kai would address his newfound YouTube following, but not in a video talking about the dedicated Wham clip. Rather, on November 16th, he posted this video basically flexing this PlayStation 4 that he had gotten a few days after Minecon. And you can see that he's still even wearing the bracelet from the event.
Hi, we just got this PS4 from GameStop tonight. It is inside my magazine.
Maybe I might just be stupid, but ask them if they can take you, ask them if you can download Discord, ask them specifically.
The replies in Super Kai's comment section were mostly positive, with people just cracking dedicated Wham jokes. About a week later, he uploads a part 2 to this PlayStation unboxing.
Okay, everybody, this is unboxing part 2, Controllers. So, as you can see, this is the DualShock 4. It has a touchpad, the PlayStation button that makes this flicker.
Just say that it's to make sure that we don't scam each other.
All the standard, PlayStation buttons, a D-pad.
After uploading part 2 of his PlayStation 4 unboxing, Super Kai actually disappears from his channel for a while, reappearing in the early summer of the next year in 2014. His return video is titled Wham is Back Announcement, which was basically a short video of him telling his subscribers that he wanted to make Let's Plays and was asking them what they wanted him to play.
Okay everybody, this is Super64 and I'm back for Let's Play. You can vote for what game I'm going to Let's Play inside the description. See you later, Whammers.
The summer of 2014 was also when Super Kai would first publicly talk about the detonated Wham incident from the year prior. And he did this in a few videos and interviews that are spread across YouTube. Most of these interviews are literally unwatchable due to poor audio quality, but there is one I'd like to talk about. That interview being conducted by Eric the CPU guy. Eric had managed to get in touch with Super Kai via Skype, and in this interview, Super Kai seemed mostly chill about the whole thing and seemed kind of cool with being a living being.
But, okay, we're just going to ask some questions here. So,
wait, how much do you have? Because the shipping might cost a bit. Because like I said, I'm in California. Like I said, this only works if we get like the replacement and all that.
Well, okay, we're just going to ask some questions here. So the first question we have is, how old were you back then? Were you at all embarrassed or enraged by the comment that was made from your speech impediment?
Never. Nope.
Hey.
I was a little at first, but...
what was your initial reaction?
I just can't believe that I got that popular on the internet.
How much RAM does your computer have?
22 GB.
22?
Yeah, it's an odd number, but I, custom built it.
Were you nervous whenever you asked your question?
No, just tired. I had, 2 hours of sleep the night before.
Oh, yeah, I get that. How long have you played Minecraft for?
Since 2012.
You have a server?
No, but I used to run on before Minecon. I just stopped running it late before Minecon. I was thinking about restarting it, but then once the dedicated Wham thing happened, I knew that if I made a server, it would just be flooded with people saying dedicated Wham.
How much RAM did it have?
Well, it was off my old PC. It was just this laptop with 4 GB, so it only had 1.
Were you surprised that you went so famous as you did?
I'm a little surprised.
If you could go to Minecon next year, what question would you ask?
The same one.
What would you recommend for the recommended amount of dedicated RAM for the server?
Depends on plugins and players, dash Woody Craft.
After his interview run in the early summer, Super Kai would announce a series of ambitious projects on his YouTube channel. Like when he announced he would be live streaming on Twitch.
Hey guys, I'm live streaming. Check out the description to see where I am.
Or the time when he announced he would be making his own video game.
Okay everybody, I'm releasing a game called Plus for Wham. If you want help out with the development, maybe you want to submit some art or sounds, that'd be great. I'll have a wiki for it inside the description. So yeah, I'll see you guys. This is SuperKai64 and I'm out.
Unfortunately though, none of these projects would ever really come to fruition. As far as I'm aware, Super Kai only streamed on Twitch a couple of times and that video game doesn't exist. So, he is one to make a lot of announcements and not actually follow through. On October 21st, Super Kai took to his YouTube channel to announce something yet again, and this time it was a Patreon account.
So, okay everybody, this is my Patreon. You don't have to donate to it, I'll still make my content and my live streams. Just, if you do plan to support it, it will just make it so I can upgrade my computer, get better software. It will just help me do what I do better. And I'd really appreciate it from you guys. You don't have to, but it's just an option.
This video actually got ratioed by dislikes, which I assume was because Kai was pretty notorious for announcing projects and not following through, so it's likely that some in the audience felt that he was undeserving of Patreon funding, and the Patreon itself was a total flop. I mean, I would honestly throw the dude $5 just for being such a legend from the Detotated Wham clip, but everybody's entitled to their own opinion, right? The last video on Super Kai 64's channel was actually a Let's Play of Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past. Yes, he finally posted a Let's Play to YouTube.
No, you got the boomerang. Now I got the boomerang, so I can't see you up at long distance. Just try and attack me now. I can stun you motherfuckers. Just try and attack me. You ain't got no chance.
Unfortunately, though, just as it seemed like Super Kai might actually start creating videos and have a more consistent creative online presence, he disappeared from YouTube shortly after this video was uploaded. And from then on, Super Kai 64 would become scarce. No, not like the guy scarce. He pretty much went missing in action in late 2014. It was an abrupt end to Super Kai 64's YouTube presence, and he didn't give any sort of explanation. Maybe he just didn't really enjoy online creation or was just tired of being the Detotated Wham kid. There have been many attempts to track down Super Kai 64 in the last few years, all of which have turned up empty-handed. The closest anyone has come was Eric the CPU guy, the person who interviewed Kai back in 2014. In recent years, fans of the Detotated Wham meme have asked Eric if he could get into contact with Super Kai again, considering that Eric is one of the few people that know Super Kai's Skype account. He would probably be somebody that maybe had communication with him still. In a recent video, Eric would explain that in order to do this, he would have to recover his old Skype account, which fortunately he was able to do. And in a follow-up video recorded earlier this year, he even makes an attempt at calling Super Kai.
So, anyways, here's Kai. Here's his Skype. I mean, this is last seen days ago, so I think it's just so long that it doesn't even know. Probably like 4 digits. I don't know. Anyways, that is Kai, so there's your proof. We're going to message him right quick. Would you be interested in doing a new interview? Did one back in 20, and I have so many people asking to do another one with you. It wasn't confiscated, it was a Skype, but just out of curiosity. So, yeah, no, this is kind of where we're at a standstill. If anybody else has any ideas how to get a hold of Kai, then we will do another interview. Otherwise, I think we're at a roadblock, and I really don't think there's anything else we can do.
Unfortunately, Eric had no luck with getting in touch with Super Kai on Skype. If you want to check his channel out, the link's in the description. He might have a follow-up video, or maybe Super Kai will respond to it.
Preparing your business for the next step. Navigate your ups and downs with insights, advice, and...
Well, if you really want to, I could actually do this very soon. I would have to convince my mom to do it. So, if you want to do it, we should probably do it soonish, because I think we're moving in like May or June or so.
Prices used to be set at a $5 cap, but
And I want to make sure that even if like something gets delayed or something like that, we won't get like stuck with the owners of the house.
But aside from spawning careers, Fiverr is also known for being the birthplace of a handful of pretty popular living memes.
Lickma.
See, on Fiverr you have become living memes. I'm talking about guys like VoiceOver Pete, SoCal Christ, and Frank George TV, just to name a few.
Sugma. Sugma what?
But today we're going to be talking about the OG of paid meme script reading on Fiverr. The man, the myth, the legend
I think
himself,
if we
Big Man
do
Tyrone.
it this month, it should be good.
Helicopter every 60 seconds in Africa. A minute passes. Together we can stop this. Please enjoy the anime.
Actually, I need to stop the stream soon. Yeah, actually, I'm gonna stop the stream now, so I can go to bed, and make a video. And it's almost Easter. So, enjoy your family. I'll be back soon. Basically, only talking to one person. But, yeah, I should probably go to bed, eat dinner. Well, that's not the right order, but eat dinner, go to sleep, and make a new video tomorrow or the day after. At the latest, Monday. Because I might be in a sugar crash from Easter. Well, guys, it was fun.